pitch for this game scheduled at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:05 here in Sauget, Illinois. Last night, these Wild Things took on the Gateway Grizzlies in Game 1 of the three-game series to open up the 2016 Frontier League season and got a 4-3 victory here on opening day. They were led by starting pitcher Trevor Foss. Foss went 6 2/3 innings, giving up six hits, 1 run, 1 earned, not walking a batter, and striking out 2. Offensively, it was a little slow for the Wild Things. They couldn't get hits in bunches, but they got the big hits when they needed to, including a big 3-run fifth inning that all got started off on a Dave Popkins leadoff double. Then after a ground out by Greg Fink, Scott Carcasey walked, giving the Wild Things runners at first and second with 1 away. And then Kyle Pollock got things rolling for the Wild Things with an RBI single. That got the first run of the game across for the Wild Things. Then Josh Zizniewski walked, followed by a Jamal Austin RBI single to make the score 2-0, and the scoring would finish with an Austin Wobrock sacrifice fly that brought in the third run of the inning, capping off what would be a big 3-run inning. Now Trevor Foss, as we said, 6 2/3 innings, tried to finish the 7th inning, just couldn't get it done as he gave up a single to Tyler Toole. He was relieved by Devon Davis, who, despite giving up 1 hit to Logan Davis, got the Wild Things out of the inning as he got Cody Livesey to fly out to center field for the final out there. Then the Wild Things added some insurance in inning number 8 as they got a leadoff walk by Austin Wobrock, followed by a ground out to move him to second, and then Jimmy Yezzo came through with a big RBI single, scoring Wobrock from second base and giving the Wild Things a 4-1 lead. That insurance run would prove very important, as in the 9th inning, Andrew Wick came in for the save, up 4-1, and he got hit around a little bit. The inning started with a leadoff double by Ben Waldrop, then a walk and an error gave the Grizzlies runners at first and third with nobody out, as Toole reached on an error, so the bases were loaded with nobody out. Then a big double play. Logan Davis hits into a 4-6-3 double play to eliminate the runners at first and second. A run did score, however, as that made the score 4-2 Washington Wild Things. Then Cody Livesey followed up with a single that scored the second run, making it 4-3. And then after a long battle with Seth Heck, Andrew Wick was able to strike him out and end the inning, securing the victory for your Washington Wild Things. And when we looked at this game, the player of the game really for Washington had to be Trevor Foss. You needed a guy to come out there on the mound, get things going early on, and really bring a fire to this team, and he did just that. You're listening to the Washington Wild Things pregame show. When we get back, we have an interview with Trevor Foss right here. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network, your home all season for Washington Wild Things baseball. I'm Zach Ziegler. We'll be right back here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show here on the MSA Sports Network. Right now I'm joined by the winning pitcher from last night's victory, Trevor Foss. Foss, what was it like when you were told that you were going to be the opening day starter for the Washington Wild Things this season?
First of all, I'd say it's an honor, coming in with a bunch of guys you don't know, and you only have 2 weeks to really prove yourself. You feel a little bit of weight, you want to set the tone for the year. You don't want to let your teammates down, but it's definitely an honor to get that nod.
I know you were pitching in front of a lot of family and friends last night at the ballpark. What's it like seeing your mom, your dad, your brother up in the stands cheering you on?
Oh, it's always great, especially after, being away for so long and traveling around through the affiliated ball stuff. You don't always get to see them, so getting closer to home and getting to throw in front of them it's a lot of fun. And like I said, it's always good to see them.
6 2/3 innings, only 1 run allowed. What'd you feel was working for you on the night? Which pitches were your go-tos on the mound?
Definitely a fastball. Pitched off the fastball all night. I think I got in a little little trouble when I got into some 1-2, 0-2 counts and tried to do too much with off speed, get a punch out instead of just sticking with the fastball and let them hit it into the ground.
And as you said, you're working with a lot of new guys this season that you haven't known. Working with catcher Kyle Pollock, what was that like last night in the first game with you guys?
Oh, he's great. He caught me a little bit in spring here, so we got to know each other and, our tendencies and all that, and we sat down, went over their lineup, what little of we knew of them before the game, and kind of put a game plan together on who runs and who hits for power, or did last year anyway, and yeah, we clicked pretty well.
And finally, I know you pitched with the Los Angeles Angels organization last year. Are there any differences or similarities between pitching in a minor league team and then transferring here to the Frontier League?
Well, there are definite differences. 7:05 start yesterday started at 7:45, which I don't think that would ever happen in affiliated ball, but that's okay. But it's a game of adjustments, and you adapt to whatever. You're gonna have weather and all that throughout the year, so that was a difference. And then as far as pitching goes, it's still just baseball. You pitch your game. You don't try to pitch to their weaknesses. You pitch to your strengths, and I'd say last night we did a pretty decent job of that, and it worked out.
All right, thanks for joining me, Trevor. We'll be right back here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
And we're back here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show. We want to thank Trevor Foss for joining us and giving us his time for that interview, as he had a great outing yesterday. As we said, 6 2/3, giving up 6 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, and striking out 2 batters on the night. And the key really was he didn't walk anybody. He had great control. He was using the corners effectively, going inside to outside, and really kept the Gateway Grizzlies off balance in this game. And looking to do the same thing tonight will be Wild Things starting pitcher Connor Kendrick. He'll take the mound as the starter tonight for the Washington Wild Things. Last year, Kendrick was pitching for the New York Yankees AAA organization, where we finished with a record of 3 wins and 8 losses, a 4.79 ERA, 83 strikeouts, and 38 walks. Gave up 97 hits and 58 runs, 49 earned. In 30 games, he had 11 starts, and he threw 92 innings of work last year for the New York Yankees AAA club. Opposing him on the mound for the Gateway Grizzlies will be Will Landschaft. Landschaft last year pitched for the Hillsboro Hops. He was 3-2 with a 4.74 ERA, 27 strikeouts, 15 walks, 31 hits allowed, 17 runs, 13 earned in 23 games pitched, a total of 24 2/3 innings of work. So these two pitchers, both with some minor league experience, playing Kendrick in AAA and Landschaft played in Single-A last season in the Major League Baseball minor league, so they both have some professional experience in that aspect, and they can bring that to the mound today as they look to lead their teams to victory. The real key here for Connor Kendrick, however, will be working the corners. You saw how Trevor Foss last night was able to pound the outside corner, the inside corner, go back and forth, and keeping these hitters really off balance. Well, the same thing's going to have to be done by Kendrick tonight. If he can keep the ball down and keep working on the corners, the Washington Wild Things will have success today, especially against left-handed pitchers. Here at GCS Bank Stadium, we have that very short wall out there in right field. It's only 3 feet high compared to all the other walls in this ballpark, which are rather tall. Then you have that short porch over in right field. Left-handed hitters can get some easy home runs. So Kendrick will have to keep the ball down, try to keep the ball on the ground, and play to this Washington Wild Things defense. We have a lot more coming up here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show. First pitch scheduled for 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise, we ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here, Sauget, Illinois, GCS Bank Stadium, home of the Gateway Grizzlies, as your Washington Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies get set to begin Game 2 of this 3-game series. I'm Zach Ziegler. You'll hear Wild Things baseball all year long right here on the MSA Sports Network and can watch it streaming on live at msasports.net. So be sure to tune into Wild Things baseball all season long. Right now, I'm going to go over the starting lineups for these two teams. First, for the visiting Washington Wild Things, they come into this game with a record of 1-0 after the win last night. They'll lead off with their center fielder, Jamal Austin. Hitting second at shortstop will be Austin Wobrock. Batting third, the third baseman, Brian Haar. In the cleanup spot, the designated hitter, Jimmy Yezzo. Batting fifth in right field, Dave Popkins. Batting sixth and playing in left field, he didn't start last night, but back is Andrew Heck. Batting seventh, playing at first base, Scott Carcasey. Batting eighth behind the plate, Kyle Pollock. And batting ninth, getting his first start of the year at second base, is Justin Fox. So once again, Austin, Wobrock, Haar, Yezzo, Popkins, Heck, Carcasey, Pollock, and Fox. For the home team, Gateway Grizzlies, they enter this game with a record of 0-1. They lead off with their left fielder, Cody Livesey. Batting second will be their second baseman, Seth Heck. In the three-hole, third baseman, Craig Masoni. Batting fourth and playing at first base, Vin Giletti. Batting fifth over in right field, Blake Brown. The sixth hitter, the designated hitter, Ben Waldrop. Batting seventh and playing in center field, Brandon Thomas. Batting eighth behind the plate, catcher Tyler Toole. And batting ninth and playing at shortstop will be Logan Davis. And we talked about it earlier, the pitching matchup, Connor Kendrick for the Washington Wild Things versus Will Landsheft for the Gateway Grizzlies. And we talked about how both of these pitchers have some minor league experience, and that can help them out today in this Frontier League contest going against these hitters. But offensively for the Washington Wild Things, I'm really looking for Dave Popkins to come through and have a big offensive day. He led this team last season in both home runs and RBIs and was a real run producer for this team. If he can get going and get a couple clutch hits for these Wild Things early in the game, there is nothing that can stop this offense. They have a lot of good talent on this offense, including Wobrock, Heck back in the lineup, Scott Carcasey, a lot of guys who can produce and have produced in the past. And if Dave Popkins can get going and start and lead this team in run production, that'll be a big key for the Washington Wild Things tonight. We're going to take one more break here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show. When we come back, we're going to go over keys of the game and your first pitch coming up soon at 8:05. Be sure to stay tuned right here for Washington Wild Things baseball on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School, lead, don't follow.
We are back here on the MSA Sports Network, getting you ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. Currently, manager Greg Langben and manager Phil Warren for the Gateway Grizzlies are out exchanging lineup cards at home plate. But right now, before these teams take the field, we're going to go over some keys of this game. For the Washington Wild Things, for offensively, you got to string more hits together. Last night, they got the timely hit, but they just couldn't get them in bunches. They scored just enough runs in the win with 4, finishing that game with a 4-3 victory. But tonight, if they can string more hits together and start more long innings making the opposing pitcher work, that'll be key for them offensively. On the pitching side, Connor Kendrick, just as long as he keeps the ball down, he should be good today. We have a strong wind blowing in from left field, so that'll stop some of these fly balls that sneak over the right field wall from going over the wall. And we will see if Kendrick can keep the ball down and trust his defense, he'll be just fine to get ground balls on the night. We're going to take one more look at the starting lineup for both teams. Going to run over it one more time for you. For the Wild Things, it would be Jamal Austin, Austin Wobrock, Brian Haar, Jimmy Yezzo, Dave Popkins, Andrew Heck, Scott Carcasey, Kyle Pollock, and Justin Fox. And for the home Gateway Grizzlies, Cody Livesey, Seth Heck, Craig Masoni, Vin Giletti, Blake Brown, Ben Waldrop, Brandon Thomas, Tyler Toole, and Logan Davis. Both teams are getting fired up and ready to go in their dugouts. as we get ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series between the Wild Things and the Grizzlies. Wild Things looking to go 2-0 here. Grizzlies looking to avoid falling 0-2. We're here. You're listening to the Washington Wild Things pregame show from GCS Bank Stadium. This pregame show brought to you by PA Leadership Charter Schools, Pittsburgh Comics, TruePar America, and Undoes. As we are ready for the second game of the Washington Wild Things baseball season, and we will be right back with first pitch here on the MSA Sports Network. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball. It's all right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
And we're back here on the MSA Sports Network. You're listening to the Washington Wild Things pregame show, as right now the Gateway Grizzlies taking the field, and we are getting ready for the national anthem. So we're going to actually take one more break, and we will be right back here on the MSA Sports Network. First pitch coming up right after this, the national anthem currently being played here at GCS Bank Stadium. You're listening to the MSA Sports Network and Washington Wild Things baseball.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We are back here on the MSA Sports Washington Wild Things pregame show. I'm Zach Ziegler bringing you Washington Wild Things baseball all season long as the teams are out on the field. Just got finished with the national anthem, and we want to remind you this broadcast brought to you by State Line Restaurant and Hotspot, People's Natural Gas, and Chick-fil-A. As the Gateway Grizzlies are out there warming up, we're going to go over their defensive alignment. In the outfield left to right, it's Livesey, Thomas, Brown. The left side of the infield being held down by Masoni and Davis. On the right side, it's Heck and Giletti, and behind the plate is Tyler Toole. And on the mound, we talked about him earlier, Will Landschaft gets the start for the Gateway Grizzlies on this day. Last year, Landschaft pitched for the Hillsboro Hops, where he went 3-2 with a 4.74 ERA, including 27 strikeouts and 15 walks in 24 and 2/3 innings. So you see the very high strikeout numbers for Landschaft. And last night, the Washington Wild Things struck out a total of 10 times. So they have to try to make contact early in the count so they don't risk falling behind and striking out against Landschaft, who's very good at striking people out, as he showed last year. 27 strikeouts in 24 and 2/3 innings of work. For the Washington Wild Things, this is how their lineup looks. Jamal Austin in center field leads off. Austin Wobrock, the shortstop, hits second. Brian Harr at third base hits third. Jimmy Yezzo, the designated hitter, in the cleanup spot. Dave Popkins bats fifth and plays in right field. Andrew Heck hits sixth in left. Scott Carcasi will play first base. He hits in the 7 hole. Kyle Pollock, the catcher, hits 8th. And Justin Fox hits 9th at second base. So it's Austin, Wobrock, Harr, Yezzo, Popkins, Heck, Carcasi, Pollock, and Fox. And as Landschaft getting ready to finish his warm-up tosses here, one more reminder that this broadcast on the MSA Sports Network is brought to you by the Henderson Brothers, Penn Station Subs, Washington County Tourism Promotion Agency, and AAA. As we said, Landschaft, a big strikeout guy, 27 strikeouts in 24 and 2/3 innings of work. And last night, the Wild Things striking out 10 times. However, the other stat we look at is in those 24 and 2/3 innings, Landschaft has also given up Landschaft in those 24 and 2/3 innings has given up 31 hits. So a bunch of hits given up by Landschaft. We'll see if the Washington Wild Things today can pile on the hits unlike they did last night. So we are ready for baseball here at GCS Bank Stadium. As you see there, in steps Jamal Austin, the center fielder, to start things off. Landschaft set. Here's the first pitch. Jamal bunting, and he looks at a strike. No balls, 1 strike. First pitch thrown at 8:13 p.m. Eastern Time. And first pitch time brought to you by State Line Grocery and Hotspot, as Landschaft set in the 0-1. And that ball's high and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. At home plate, we have Mike Fichter, and on the field, Tom Swoboda, the 2 umpires in the game. Landschaft set in the 1-1. And this one's popped up on the infield. Giletti calling everyone off, and he will make the catch, and that's out number 1. So 2 pitches and quickly 1 away for the Washington Wild Things, as that'll bring up the shortstop, Austin Wobrock. Last night, Wobrock officially was 0 for 1 with 2 walks and a sacrifice fly and an RBI. So he got on base a lot last night. And one thing we saw is when he did get on base, Grizzlies pitchers played very close attention to him, throwing a lot of pickoff throws and making sure he was staying close to the bag, as Landschaft's first pitch is low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes on Wobrock. 1 out here in the top of the first. No score between your Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. Landschaft set in the 1-0. Swung on and fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here in Sauget, Illinois at GCS Bank Stadium, as your Washington Wild Things take on the Gateway Grizzlies. The 1-1 from Landschaft. This one's lined up the middle. Nice grab by Davis at short. He'll throw on to first, and that is out number 2. So quickly, 6 pitches and 2 outs here, as that'll bring up the third baseman, Brian Harr. Harr in last night's game was 0 for 3 with a walk and 2 strikeouts, as he looks to come back offensively in this one. And Landschaft right now working pretty quickly, getting the first 2 men on 3 pitches, as 1 popped out and 1 grounded out. As Brian Harr steps in, no score here in the top of the first, 2 away. Landchef set in the pitch. High ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to Brian Haar. As we said last night, 0 for 3 with a walk. Landchef set in the 1-0. High ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes to Haar. And right now, if you're the Wild Things, you'd like to get a hit here to get on base and make Landchef throw some more pitches. Here's the pitch. And strike. 2 balls and a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. The count to the Wild Things third baseman. Landchef's 2-1. And this one's popped up back into foul territory and will reach the seats. So 2 balls, 2 strikes here. 2-2, 2 outs. No score between the Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies here in the top of inning number 1. Brian Haar, the third baseman, batting, has a 2-2 count. Landchef looking into Tool for his sign. He has it. He kicks and deals. And low ball 3. So full count here to Brian Haar with 2 outs in the first inning. The first 2 men were retired on 3 pitches. Brian Haar here making Landchef work a little bit. Landchef set. Here's the 3-2. And low ball 4. So Brian Haar works the walk and gives the Wild Things a 2-out base runner. That brings up Jimmy Yezzo. Last night, Yezzo 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a big RBI. He's the one who provided the big insurance run back in the 8th inning of yesterday's ball game that proved to be very, very important as the Wild Things won by a 4-3 margin. Landchef sets. Check Haar at first. Here's the pitch. Low ball 1. Nice block there by Tool behind the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. For the Wild Things, Brian Haar, the runner at first, after he walked. And for the Wild Things, let's see if they can string some hits together and maybe make that 2-out walk hurt the Grizzlies. 1 ball, no strikes, the count on Yezzo. Yezzo played first base in last night's game, the designated hitter tonight. Landchef set in the pitch. And this ball popped back behind the screen and foul. So 1 ball, 1 strike, the count. And we see early on the Wild Things are swinging early and often. Don't want to get too deep into the count with Landchef with the strikeout numbers that he had last season. The 1-1. And high ball 2. 2 balls and a strike here on Yezzo. Jimmy Yezzo, the left-handed batter's box. Landchef set. And the 2-1 coming. And this one's popped up on the infield. Davis going over. Masoni looking. Davis will call him off, and he will make the catch for out number 3. So no runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left after the walk. And after half an inning, it's Wild Things nothing. Gateway Grizzlies coming to bat. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We are back here on the MSA Sports Network, getting you ready to start the bottom of the first. The Wild Things did get a runner as a 2-out walk to Brian Haar, netted them base runner, but nothing came out of it. And we do have a fielding note. It'll be Eddie Sarando behind the plate as he is there now replacing Kyle Pollock. So the Wild Things, Eddie Sarando will start today other than Kyle Pollock. And with Sarando's entrance, let's look at the rest of the Washington Wild Things defense. In the outfield, left to right, Heck, Austin, and Popkins. The left side of the infield will be fielded by Haar and Wobrock. On the right side, it'll be Fox and Carcasey with Eddie Sarando behind the plate instead of Kyle Pollock. And on the mound, we talked about it earlier, Connor Kendrick will be starting for your Washington Wild Things. Pitched in the New York Yankees AAA system last year. Had a record of 3-8 with a 4.79 ERA, 83 strikeouts, 38 walks, 97 hits, 58 runs allowed, 49 earned, 30 games. He made 11 starts in 92 innings pitched. And Kendrick today, as we said, the keys to the game earlier in the pregame show is for Kendrick, he has to be able to keep the ball down if he wants to get some quality outs. If he can keep the ball on the ground like Trevor Foss did last night, he will be effective in this game. And one quick look at the Gateway Grizzlies lineup before they come to bat. Cody Livesey, Seth Heck, Craig Masoni, Vin Gilletti, Blake Brown, Ben Waldrop, Brandon Thomas, Tyler Toole, and Logan Davis. As Cody Livesey getting ready to step in here for the Gateway Grizzlies to start things here in the bottom of the first. Livesey last night 2 for 5, 2 singles, 2 of the team's 9 hits on the night. Kendrick set, and here's the first pitch. And it's a called strike. No balls and a strike on Livesey. Kendrick, the left-hander on the mound for the Wild Things. He's set. Here comes the 0-1. Line drive, that's a base hit in the center field. So the leadoff man is on here for the Gateway Grizzlies in the bottom of the first with no score, as quickly the Wild Things have to deal with a base runner. That's something Tyler Foss eliminated a lot of last night. He was able to keep the leadoff men off base, and that really helped the Wild Things defense be able to focus on just the batter at hand. And now that'll bring up Seth Heck, the second baseman. And last night, Heck 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts as he looks to turn things around offensively. And on that last pitch, it just looked like a little mistake pitch by Kendrick. He left it out over the middle of the plate, and Livesey was just able to blind that ball into center. Kendrick setting the pitch. High ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to the Grizzlies' second baseman. Kendrick, one of 3 left-handers on this Washington Wild Things pitching staff. Checks the runner at first. Here's the 1-0. Runner takes off for second. The throw over to first will get him, but no! The throw to second is bobbled by Austin Wobrock, and Livesey will get in there at second base. They had Livesey picked off at first base, but then Yezzo's throw over to Wobrock at second bounced. Wobrock couldn't handle it, so Livesey gets in there, and the Grizzlies now have a runner at second with nobody out. Not what you wanted if you're the Washington Wild Things. Kendrick set, checks the runner at second, the 1-0. High ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes to the Wild Things second baseman. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first, no score. Livesey, the runner at second for Gateway. As Kendrick looks for his sign from Sarando. He has it, and now he'll step off. He didn't like what he saw there. Heck, the right-handed batter, as Kendrick has his sign. He's set, checks the runner at second. Kicks in the 2-0. Swung on and missed. 2 balls and a strike. Seth Heck, as we said last night, 2 strikeouts in his 0 for 5 day as he looks to turn things around offensively. Kendrick has his sign. Set in the 2-1. And high ball 3, so 3 balls and a strike. And if you're Connor Kendrick, you do not want to lose this batter and allow the first 2 men of the inning to reach. So he has to shut this down right now. Kendrick set. The 3-1 coming. And it's inside ball 4. So he has walked Heck, and now the Grizzlies have 2 men on and nobody out. Runners at first and second here, and that'll bring up Craig Masoni, the third baseman. Masoni 1 for 4 last night with a single in the first inning. He was shut down otherwise. And Kendrick in a bit of a jam here early on. 2 runners on, nobody out. We'll see if he can get out of it as Eddie Sarando relaying the defensive signs to the infielders here. Masoni last year a 289 hitter, or 315 hitter, excuse me, for these Gateway Grizzlies. 7 home runs, 18 RBIs. So he does have some pop in his bat. Kendrick setting the pitch. This ball lined foul off to the right and into the seats. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count to Masoni. here in the bottom of the first. No score between the Wild Things, but the Grizzlies threatening. They have 2 on here and nobody out. Kendrick looking in. He has his sign. He's set, and the 0-1's coming. And low ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Kendrick early on here, a little bit wild to start the game. Probably frazzled by that leadoff hit by Livesey as he looks to turn things around here on the mound. Kendrick set. Checks the runner at second. Here's the pitch. And low ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. And right now, Kendrick kind of struggling to find the plate. He got a first pitch strike over on Livesey before Livesey lined the ball into center field for the base hit. He also got a first pitch strike over on Heck, but then after that he threw him 4 straight balls and walked him, and now has a 2-1 count here on Masoni. Kendrick set, the 2-1 coming. And that's a called strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-2, nobody out here in the bottom of the first. No score between the Washington Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have runners at first and second here with nobody out. Kendrick has his sign. He's set. Kicks and deals. And the ball is popped up. Fox looks like he's under it. He's going to call everyone off and make the catch. That's out number 1. And that is a big first out here for Connor Kendrick. Doesn't allow the runners to move up. Keeps them right where they are at first and second. And still has the double play possibility in check. And this will bring up the first baseman, Vin Giletti. Giletti was the designated hitter for the Great Gateway Grizzlies last night and went 1 for 4 with a single. As Kendrick looks to get out of this jam as Giletti steps in. First and second, 1 out. After a leadoff single by Livesey and a walk by Heck. Kendrick checks Livesey at second. Here's the pitch. Low in the dirt. Nice block by Sarando. No balls and a strike. And that block by Sarando keeps runners at first and second, so it was a very nice job defensively behind the plate. Sarando taking over for Kyle Pollock. Pollock apparently had a bicep problem, and that's why Eddie Sarando is starting this game. Kendrick has his sign. He's set. And the 1-0 coming. And this ball grounded to second. Fox ranged to his right. Not going to be enough to make 2, so he makes the sure out at first base, and that is out number 2. 4-3 on the putout. Runners do move up to second and third on the play. That was a very smart play there by Justin Fox, not forcing the issue and trying to make 2 when he couldn't get it with. He didn't have any shot at getting the ball. So he ranged to his left, made the play, checked the runner at second, saw he had no time, and got the sure out at first base. A very smart play. Getting it out for the Wild Things. This brings up Blake Brown. Brown last night 0 for 4 with a strikeout. But we did talk about Brown being a bopper for this team. He batted .261. He had 22 home runs a year ago. Kendrick set in the pitch. This ball grounded to short. Wobrock handles it over there, fires over to first, and that will be out number 3. So Kendrick gets out of the jam, allowing no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network. We'll be right back for action in the top of the second.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. POGS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. POGS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to POGS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We are back here on the MSA Sports Network. Your Washington Wild Things taking on the Gateway Grizzlies in Game 2 of this 3-game series here in Sauget, Illinois in GCS Bank Stadium. I'm Zach Ziegler here calling all the action for you. Back in the first inning, the Wild Things had 2 quick outs, then a 2-out walk to Brian Haar and a pop-out to Jimmy Yezzo to finish off that first inning. So they're looking for more offense here in the top of the second. No score between the Grizzlies and the Wild Things as Landchef finishing up his warm-up tosses here. Due up for the Wild Things this inning, Dave Popkins, Andrew Heck, and Scott Carr Casey will be the batters for the Wild Things. And we talked about in the pregame show, one of my keys to this game, Dave Popkins needs to come through offensively for the Washington Wild Things. He led this team in homers and RBIs last season with 20 and 46 respectively. And if he can get going and start getting hot and get on base, this is going to be a feared Wild Things offense. They have a lot of bats that can do a lot of damage, as proven in the past, and we'll see what Popkins can do today. In yesterday's game, Popkins ended up going 1 for 3 with a double. He scored the first run of the game for the Wild Things as well, and he also struck out. Landchef set. Here's the first pitch to Popkins. And it's a strike. No balls and a strike. As we start the second inning of work here, no score between the Wild Things and the Grizzlies. Landchef set in the 0-1. Checks his swing. He did not go around, so it'll be 1 ball, 1 strike. For Popkins, looking to be patient here. Nobody out. Landchef set. And the 1-1 coming. And a ground ball up the middle. Hits off the mound. Handled there by Davis. Davis' throw to first is in time for out number 1. Nice hustle down the line by Popkins, but he just can't beat it out, and that's out number 1. That'll bring up the left fielder, Andrew Heck. Now, Heck didn't start the game last night, but did get in. He was a defensive replacement in the 8th inning. Heck last season for the Washington Wild Things, a .299 hitter, 1 homer and 1 homer and 16 RBIs. Heck, one of the returners on this Wild Things team, a veteran, as he had a very high batting average last year. See if he can get on base here. Landchef setting the first pitch to him. It's called strike, no balls and a strike. Landchef is doing a very good job of pounding the strike zone, especially early on, and getting those first pitches across. So these Wild Things are patiently waiting, and the 0-1's coming. And this one's grounded up the middle. That'll be the first base hit of the day for the Washington Wild Things, as Andrew Heck gets a 1-out single to give the Wild Things a runner on base. The pitch was about belt high, a little bit on the inside corner, and Heck was able to square it up and get it up the middle for the Wild Things' first base hit of the day, and that'll bring up Scott Casey. He was the designated hitter last night, playing first base tonight. In last night's contest, went 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. He was part of that big 3-run 5th inning. Landchef checks Heck at first. Here's the pitch. And it's a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. For Heck, we talked about that .299 batting average last year, starting this season off on the right foot with a base hit in his first at-bat. Landchef set. Checks Heck at first. And the pitch coming. And that's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. For Casey, he in the spring training game, the Friday morning spring training game, he homered in that game and really showed some presence at the plate. See if he can bring that this season in 2016. Landchef set in the 1-1. No, first throw over, and Heck's back. Last season, Heck had 7 stolen bases on the year in 48 games. So he's a guy they're going to want to keep an eye on at first base. Landchef is set. And the 1-1 on the way. There goes Heck for second. A swing and a miss. The throw down is not in time as Heck gets in there with his first stolen base of the year. It looked like Heck got a little bit of a late jump there, but a double clutch by Toole behind the plate allowed him to get in there. That pitch was called a strike, or a swing and a miss for a strike on Casey. So 1 ball, 2 strikes the count, and the Wild Things are runner in scoring position now with 1 out. No score between the Wild Things and the Grizzlies. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Landchef set, checks Heck at second. Here's the pitch. And low in the dirt, but corralled by Toole, so Heck will not be able to move up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-2, as we said in the pregame, wind blowing in from right field, so that short porch might be a little bit harder to get a home run over tonight, as we see on your stream that you have a very short 3-foot-high wall over there in right field as compared to the other outfield walls, which are all of the taller variety. So some fly balls are able to sneak over that right field wall, but today with that wind blowing in, it's going to be harder to get the carry on the ball you want to get over that fence. Landchef setting the 2-2. That's high, ball 3, fills the count up. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out here in the top of the second. No score between the Washington Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. Lanchef set, checks Heck at second. And the 3-2 on the way. And a called strike 3. So Carcasey goes down looking as it just hit that inside corner for out number 2. And that'll bring up the catcher, Eddie Sarando. Sarando in his first action of the 2016 season. Originally, Kyle Pollock was in the lineup behind the plate. However, we got word that he had a bicep injury and had to be removed from the game. So Eddie Sarando gets the start. Sarando, very limited action for the Wild Things last year. In 4 games, he hit .429. He did have a double and walked 4 times, or struck out 4 times. First pitch to Sarando is low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. And Sarando, the Jersey City, New Jersey native, at the plate. 1 ball, no strikes, no score between the Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. Heck the runner at second. The 1-0 coming. And it's high, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. 2-0, 2 outs. Andrew Heck at second. Lanchef set in the 2-0. Outside ball 3, low and away. So 3 balls, no strikes the count.
This is Sarando. They didn't tell us about the change.
3 balls, no strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the second. Andrew Heck, the runner at second. He singled with 1 out. Lanchef set. Nope, he'll check over to second, and Heck gets back. 3 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. As Will Lanchef looks in, gets his sign from Toole. He's set, checks Heck at second, and the pitch coming. And a called strike, 3 balls, 1 strike. That ball just at the knees and on the outside corner. 3 balls, 1 strike, no score between the Wild Things and the Grizzlies here in the top of the second. Lanchef set and the 3-1 coming. Inside ball 4, so the Wild Things get a 2-out walk here and have runners at first and second now with 2 away. So with 2 on, 2 out, it'll bring up Justin Fox. Fox did see 1 at-bat in yesterday's game. He popped out to second in that at-bat as he came in as a defensive replacement for John Zizniewski at second base. But last year for Fox, Fox played for the Rockford Aviators and hit .264, 3 homers, 20 RBIs. Lanchef set in the pitch. Called strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count, 2 outs here in the top of the second. No score between the Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. Heck the runner at second, Sarando at first. Lanchef set in the 0-1. Swung on and missed, no balls, 2 strikes. And with Heck, the 1-out single, he advanced on a stolen base, his first of the season. And then the walk by Eddie Sarando has runners at first and second with 2 away. The 0-2. Low ball 1. Nice pick there by Toole behind the plate to keep the runners where they are. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And here in these last 3 batters, Lanchef has been a little while getting the 3-ball counts with the last 2. 1-2 count here on Fox. Lanchef set the 1-2. This one fouled off and will go out of the stadium off to the right. So the count remains 1-2. Justin Fox, as we said, a defensive replacement yesterday in the 8th inning for the Washington Wild Things. Did get 1 at bat. Lanchef looks into Toole for his sign. He has it. Checks Heck at second. He's set in the 1-2. In the dirt, ball 2. Another nice block by Toole behind the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wild Things, their first hit in this inning with the Heck single and have a man in scoring position after his first stolen base of the year. Sarando reached first on a walk. Lanchef has his sign. He's set in the 2-2 coming. Outside ball 3. So for the 3rd straight batter, Lanchef has gone to a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And last inning we saw him, he got the first 2 outs very quickly in the first inning did walk a man and then got Yezo out on 4 pitches. But here, struggling these last 3 batters, each going to 3-ball counts as the full count pitch is a called strike 3, and Justin Fox will strike out, and that ends the inning. So no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on. After 1.5, the score, your Wild Things nothing. Gateway Grizzlies coming to bat. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. POGS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. POGS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to POGS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here in the bottom of the second. No score between the Washington Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies here in Game 2 of the 3-game series to kick off the Frontier League season. We are back. I'm Zach Ziegler here calling all the Wild Things action this season as Connor Kendrick gets to throwing his final warm-up tosses here for the bottom of the second. Back in the first inning, he got in trouble early on as he allowed a leadoff single by Livesey and a walk by Seth Heck to give the Grizzlies first and second with nobody out, but then he got Craig Masoni to pop out to second base. A ground ball by Vin Giletti thrown out at first base, got the second out, and he got the final out on a ground ball to short. And it was a really nice job by Justin Fox, the second baseman, back in that first inning of taking the outs that he can get. He had a ground ball, he had a range to his left to get. He checked second, saw he had no time to get the out there, so he just throws to first and gets the shore out. And that might have saved Washington a run, because if he had tried for that double play, the man at second would have been safe, and then we would have had a bases loaded situation with 1 out, and that is a lot different than second and third with 2 outs. So great defensive play by Justin Fox back in the first inning as Connor Kendrick looks to keep runners off base here in the second. Due up for the Grizzlies this inning, Ben Waldrop, Brandon Thomas, and Tyler Toole, the batters. Waldrop, the designated hitter tonight, played first base in last night's game. And last night, Waldrop ended up going 1 for 3 with a double. He scored a run. He was part of that rally in the 9th inning as the Grizzlies tried to get back into the game. He had the leadoff double to give the Grizzlies a runner in scoring position, and he later scored on the single by Cody Livesey. So Waldrop up to start the bottom of the second. No score between the Washington Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies here at GCS Stadium in Sauget, Illinois. Kendrick looking into Sarando for his sign. He has it. He kicks and deals. Swing and a miss. No balls and a strike. No balls, 1 strike to Ben Waldrop. And as we said back in that first inning, Kendrick getting into some trouble, but able to work out of it. No balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. And this one, line to the right center field gap. Popkins going back. He'll camp under it, and he will make the catch for out number 1. So again, quickly, 2 pitches, 1 out here for Kendrick, and this will bring up Brandon Thomas. Thomas last night, 1 for 3 with a single and a walk on the night. He scored 2 of the 3 Grizzlies runs as he was part of that 9th inning rally as they tried to come back, and he also scored the first run in the 5th inning after Logan Davis hit an RBI single. Kendrick set, and the first pitch coming. And the first pitch is called a strike. No balls and a strike. This is key for Kendrick. He has to be able to get out in front of hitters early on and stay in front of them. The 0-1. Checks his swing, but fouls the ball off. No balls, 2 strikes. And Thomas, last season, played for the Tampa Yankees. He was in the single-A system for the Yankees at .213 with a homer and 7 RBIs. So a matchup between 2 Yankee prospects here as the 0-2 pitch is chopped right in front of the mound. Kendrick will handle it himself. He throws on to first, and that is out number 2. So quickly 2 away here in the top of the second, as that'll bring up the catcher, or bottom of the second, excuse me, as that'll bring up catcher Tyler Toole. Toole had a good offensive day last night, going 2 for 4 with 2 singles. He didn't score, and Toole looks to continue his offensive success tonight. Toole last season was a 270 hitter, 11 home runs, and 29 RBIs for Toole. Kendrick setting the pitch. Called strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 as Kendrick's got ahead of the last two batters. Kendrick has his sign. He's setting the 0-1. Swing and a miss. No balls, two strikes. No balls, two strikes, 2 outs, no score between the Washington Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies here at GCS Bank Stadium. Kendrick setting the 0-2. Low and outside, ball 1. Tried to get Toole fishing, but Toole didn't bite. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom second, no score between the Washington Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies here from Sauget, Illinois. Kendrick set, here's the 1-2. Chopped in fair territory, but it will roll foul off to the left, so the count will remain 1 ball, 2 strikes. As we said, both these guys, Toole and Kendrick, not Toole and Kendrick. Kendrick, the Yankee prospect. Toole played for the Grizzlies last year, had that 275 average. Or the 270 average, 11 homers, 29 RBIs for the Grizzlies catcher. He has some power in his bat, a left-hander, but as we talked about that wind blowing in from right field earlier, could neutralize that power. Kendrick setting the 1-2, and it hits him. So the first hit by pitch of the year, as it got Toole right in the back between the letters, gives them a 2-out base runner here. And that pitch looked like it got away from him there, as it was a fastball that never came back inside, got him right in the back, and gives the Grizzlies a 2-out base runner. That'll bring up Logan Davis, the shortstop. Davis last night also a pretty good offensive night, 2 for 4 with an RBI. He had 2 singles. First pitch to him, he squares and fouls this one away. No balls and a strike. 2 outs here. Grizzlies have a runner at first. No score between your Washington Wild Things and the Grizzlies. Kendrick looking for his sign from Toronto. He has it. Checks Toole at first. He's set in the 0-1. Swung on and grounded to second. Justin Fox coming in. He gets it and throws on to first, and that's out number 3. So no runs on no hits, no errors. 1 left in the inning after a hit by pitch. And here, after 2 innings of play, it's your Washington Wild Things nothing, Gateway Grizzlies nothing. We'll be right back. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
And we are back here on the Washington Wild Things MSA Sports Network, your home for Washington Wild Things baseball all season long. I'm Zach Ziegler calling the action for you. We're getting ready to start the top of the third. No score between your Washington Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. And so far, offensively, we're looking for the Wild Things to string some hits together in this game and try to get on base. Both teams have 1 hit, so it's been a pitcher's duel through the first 2 innings of play as the Wild Things get set to come to bat here in the top of the third. Due up will be the 1-2-3 men, Jamal Austin, Austin Wobrock, and Brian Haar against Will Landschaft. One thing we saw last night was the Wild Things struck out 10 times in last night's contest, 2 in the first inning. Here they still have 2, but it's now in the second innings. They're trying not to get as deep into the count as they were last night. As we talked in the pregame, Landschaft, a good strikeout guy, 27 strikeouts in 24 2/3 innings of work. So the Wild Things trying to swing a little bit early to get out of those 2-strike counts and avoid the possibility of striking out. As we ready for the top of the third here, Last inning, Andrew Heck led things off with a single, got his first stolen base of the year as he moved up to second. Then a strikeout by Scott Carcasey, a walk by Eddie Sarando, who came into the game for Kyle Pollock, apparently removed for an injury, and then Justin Fox struck out to end the inning. So Jamal Austin ready to step in, and we are ready for action here in the top of the third. Landchef looks into Tool. He has his sign. He's setting the pitch. High ball one. 1 ball, no strikes on the Wild Things center fielder. The second time through the lineup for your Wild Things. Landchef set in the 1-0. And that's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Landchef almost duplicating what last night's starter Richards did for the Grizzlies last night. He allows 1 hit in the first inning, but other than that, keeping the Wild Things offense at bay as this one's fouled off and the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jamal Austin, the center fielder for the Wild Things. No score between the Wild Things and the Grizzlies. Landchef setting the 1-2. Low in the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Jamal Austin, as we said, 1 hit last night, the RBI single in the 5th, part of that 3-run Wild Things 5th inning. Landchef setting the 2-2. Outside ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Full count here on Jamal Austin. Austin is a threat when he gets on base. He had 9 stolen bases last year in 28 games. The pitch, lined in the right field, and that'll get down the line. Fair ball. Austin around first. He's heading to second, and the throw will come in. So Jamal Austin leads things off here in the third with a leadoff double, giving the Wild Things a runner in scoring position and nobody out. The second time the Wild Things have had a runner in scoring position today, this time to start the inning. And a great job by Austin waiting for his pitch and getting one he liked and lining it down that right field line. And that'll bring up Austin Wobrock, the shortstop. He grounded out in his first at-bat. That 2-2 pitch wasn't off the plate by much for the full count pitch, and then Jamal Austin made Landchef pay as Landchef let that one right over the middle of the plate. Landchef set in the first pitch to Wobrock. Wobrock swings and misses, no balls and a strike. Wobrock had his first RBI of the season last night with a sacrifice fly. Last season, Wobrock drove in 31 runs for these Wild Things. So a good run producer here. He has a man in scoring position now. The 0-1. Up the middle. Caught by Davis. Davis will throw on to first, and that's out number 1. Good positioning there by Logan Davis at shortstop. But meanwhile, Jamal Austin does move up to third on the play. And Wobrock hit that one sharply, but Davis kind of shading himself towards the middle, able to range to his left, get that ball, and throw out the runner at first. That'll bring up Brian Haar now. Haar walked in his first at-bat and was stranded back in the first. Landchef set. Checks Austin at third. Here's the pitch. And low ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes on the Wild Things third baseman. No score here in the top of the third, but the Wild Things threatening with a runner on third and only 1 out. Landchef set. Checks Austin at third. Here's the pitch. And it's low and away, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Landchef again here in the third inning having some control issues. As we see the first 2 pitches of this at-bat being outside. Landchef set. And the 2-0 coming. And that's a called strike. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1. The count on Brian Haar, the third baseman for the Wild Things. Austin, the runner at third, 1 out. He led off the inning with a double. Landchef set in the 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As Landchef slowed that one down there, the breaking ball fooled Haar. Haar reached base once last night in the victory. He walked. He was officially 0 for 3. Landchef the 2-2. This one's grounded to third. Played there. The throw over to first will get the out. Meanwhile, Austin will score, and your Wild Things will take an early 1-0 lead here over the Gateway Grizzlies. That ball was hit sharply to third base, but Austin leaving on contact, and Masoni over there at third just decides to take the sure out at first and allow the run to score, giving your Wild Things a 1-0 lead. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Jimmy Yezzo. Landchef set in the first pitch is a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. That's Harr's first RBI of the season. Landchef set in the 1-0. Ball, 2 balls, no strikes. Hey, that ball by Har was shot to third base. I'm kind of surprised that Masoni threw over to first, but he did and allows the Wild Things to score. It's popped up in left field. In comes Livesey, and he will make the catch, and that is out number 3. Well, no, 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and none left on base. After 2.5, the score here, your Washington Wild Things lead this one by a score of 1-0. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network, where you can hear Washington Wild Things baseball all year long, right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network, currently going to the bottom of the third inning. Your Washington Wild Things now have a 1-0 lead here over the Gateway Grizzlies. In last inning, the Wild Things scored their run after a leadoff double by Jamal Austin. He waited a long time, got into a full count, found the pitch he wanted, and lined it in the right field down the line for a double. A ground up by Austin Wobrock moved to the third, and then a ground out by Brian Hart to third base ended up scoring the run. Now, that hard ground ball, as we were talking about before the inning break, it was very sharply hit to Craig Masoni at third base, and he was looking at Jamal Austin. Austin didn't have that big a lead from third, and instead of throwing home to get the out there, he decided to take the sure out at first base and get Har. And allowed the run to score and give your Wild Things this 1-0 lead as we are ready to start the bottom of the third. The inning would finish with a fly out to left field by Jimmy Yezzo. Due up for the Grizzlies this half inning, 1-2-3, Cody Livesey, Seth Heck, and Craig Masoni. Livesey steps in now, coming to the batter's box. He's 1 for 1. He singled back in the first. As your Wild Things lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the third. 1 run, 2 hits for the Wild Things. No runs, 1 hit for the Grizzlies. Kendrick set. Here's the first pitch. And it's a called strike. No balls and a strike. Kendrick set in the 0-1 coming. Swung on and missed. No balls, 2 strikes. So Kendrick quickly out ahead of this batter. 2 strikes ahead. That's one thing we've seen from Kendrick tonight, getting ahead of a lot of batters, and he's pitching well. The 0-2. Called strike 3, and it's the first strikeout of the game for Connor Kendrick, and there's 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Livesey frozen on that pitch as it was right across the outside corner of the plate. Nice call there by home plate umpire Mike Fitcher. That'll bring up the second baseman, Seth Heck. He walked in his first time. Heck, as we said last night, 0 for 5, 2 strikeouts for the Grizzlies. Here's the first pitch from Kendrick. And it's inside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 ball, no strikes, the count here to Heck. Kendrick set in the pitch. Outside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. 2-0, 1 out. Bottom third, no score between, or Wild Things lead 1-0, excuse me. Kendrick set in the 2-0. Chop foul, 2 balls and a strike. Wild Things lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the third. 1 run, 2 hits for the Wild Things, no runs, 1 hit for the Grizzlies. Kendrick looking into Sorondo. He has his sign. He's set in the 2-1. High ball 3. 3 balls and a strike, the count to the Grizzlies' second baseman. And there already has been one walk on the day for Kendrick. The 3-1. And that's a called strike. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Full count. The first full count of the night for Kendrick, as he's been working pretty efficiently on the mound. The 3-2 coming. That's high ball 4. The second walk of the day for Kyle Kendrick nets the Grizzlies a 1-out base runner. And the second walk to Heck today. Heck has both the walks by Connor Kendrick, excuse me. And that'll bring up Craig Masoni, the third baseman. He popped out the second in his last at-bat back in the first inning. That was a big pop-out for Kendrick to get, as he allowed the first 2 men of the inning to reach at first and second after the walk to Heck and the single by Livesey. So getting that pop-out by Masoni really was the play that kept the Grizzlies off the board, not allowing the runners to move up. Kendrick set. Checks Heck at first. Here's the pitch. And it's a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0, big hole on the right side, as Carcasey holding the runner at first. Kendrick set, checks Heck at first, and the 1-0. And this one's popped foul off to the right and into the stands. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom of the third, your Wild Things lead this one 1-0 over the Gateway Grizzlies. Kendrick set, checks Heck at first, and the 1-1 on the way. And this is low, ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike, the count here on Craig Masoni. Masoni in last night's game, 1 for 4 with a single. Kendrick set, and the 2-1, nope, throw over to first, and he's back. 2 balls and a strike. Your Wild Things wearing the red tops with the white lettering that they wore in last night's game, their gray pants. Gateway again in their white tops, white bottoms. Kendrick set. And 2-1 on the way. Low and gets away from Toronto, gets it quickly, but he will not throw down to second. So Heck moves up to second now with 1 out. That's a wild pitch here on Kendrick, allows the runner Heck to move up to second. 3 balls and a strike to count, 1 out. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Here in the bottom of the third, Wild Things lead 1-0, but the Grizzlies have a runner at second here with 1 away. Kendrick set, and the 3-1 coming. And this one again popped up. Fox going out, Popkins coming in. Fox will call everyone off and make the catch. That is out number 2. Fox having to range back on that play and make a nice catch as Popkins was coming in. Looked like Popkins had a beat on the ball, but Fox followed it all the way, called off Popkins, and was able to rein that one in. This brings up Vin Giletti, the first baseman. He grounded out to second in his first at-bat back in the first inning. Seth Heck, the runner at second, he walked with 1 out and moved up on a wild pitch. Kendrick set, checks Heck at second. Here's the pitch. Low in the dirt, and this one gets away from Sorondo. It'll go back to the backstop, and Heck will move up to third. Another wild pitch here for Kendrick. Another runner able to move up. The second wild pitch of the inning for Kendrick. Now gives the Gateway Grizzlies a runner at third with 2 outs. And even with 2 outs and that runner over there at third, you still got to focus on the batter, because if you can get him out, you can end this inning painlessly. So for Kendrick, don't worry about the runner at third. Just focus on the guy at home plate right now. 1 ball, no strikes, bottom of the third. Wild Things lead 1-0 over the Grizzlies. Kendrick set, kicks and deals. And this ball line, base hit in the left center field gap, and that will score the first run of the game for the Grizzlies. And this ball in the gap, Austin will throw it back into the infield, and that is an RBI double for Vin Giletti. So this game is now tied at 1. Giletti able to go with that pitch and line it into that left center field gap, giving the Gateway Grizzlies their first run of the night. And that'll bring up Blake Brown, the right fielder for the Grizzlies. 1 ball, 1 strike. Or 1-1 the score, excuse me. Kendrick set. And the first pitch coming to Brown. High ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 wild pitches for Kendrick in the inning, and that moved Heck into scoring position and up to third base. So that's coming back to hurt Kendrick. Here's the pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. As Gilletti behind Brown here after giving up that RBI double. Two balls, no strikes the count. And the pitch coming to Brown. Swung on and missed. 2 balls and a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Score tied at 1 here between the Wild Things and the Grizzlies. Gilletti, the runner at second after an RBI double. Kendrick set, and the 2-1 coming. And a called strike, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That one just hitting the inside corner. 2-2 the count, 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the third. Each team scoring a run in this inning. The score is now tied at 1. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And the pitch coming. Bring them all inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Kendrick comes full to Brown after allowing the RBI double by Gilletti. Kendrick looks in, has his sign from Sarando. He is set. Checks Gilletti at second. Here's the 3-2. And low ball 4. So a 2-out walk here gives the Grizzlies runners at first and second with 2 away and brings up Ben Waldrop, the designated hitter. Waldrop today 0 for 1 on the night. Waldrop played first base in last night's game, went 1 for 4 with a double and scored the second run of the game, for the Grizzlies in that 2-run rally in the 9th. Gilletti, the runner at second, Brown at first, and Waldrop the batter. Kendrick has his sign. Kicks and deals. Outside ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Kendrick kind of finding control issues here in the third inning. Was getting outs quickly back in the first and second. Hits a little rough spot here in the third. Kendrick set. Checks the runner at second in the 1-0. And that's a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hits that outside corner. Notice today, especially against the lefties, Kendrick working the outside part of the plate, trying to get them to pull the ball into left field rather than hit it towards right field in that short porch. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Kendrick the pitcher. He's set. Checks Gilletti at second. Here's the 1-1. Grounded to second. Fox handles it. Throw on to first, and that will be out number 3. The Grizzlies do get a run on the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on as there were 2 walks in the inning. And after 3, your score all tied up at 1 here. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We are back here at the top of the 4th inning. Your score tied at 1. Each team scoring a run back in the 3rd inning. For the Wild Things, they got their run after a leadoff double by Jamal Austin. Austin Wobrock grounded out to short. moving Austin up to third. Then a ground out by Brian Hart at third base scored Austin for the first run of the game for your Wild Things. That inning ended with a Jimmy Yezzo flyout to left field. Do it for the Wild Things this inning: Dave Popkins, Andrew Heck, and Scott Carcasey. The 5, 6, and 7 hitters. As Landchef finishing up his warm-up tosses. Landchef, a little bit of a control issue today as he's not locating the pitches exactly where he wants them, but he's doing enough to keep his team in this game. It's tied at 1 as Dave Popkins strides in. Last time for Popkins, he grounded out to short back in the second inning. Top of the fourth, 1-1 score between your Washington Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. Landchef set. Here's the first pitch. And this one lined up the middle, a base hit. Popkins wasting no time, taking the first pitch into center field, and he's on with a leadoff single. The Wild Things have a leadoff base runner for the second consecutive inning. 1-1 game tied here in the top of the fourth as Andrew Heck will step in. He singled his last time and stole a base. Landchef set. Checks Bachman at first. Here's the pitch. And a called strike. No balls and a strike. Second consecutive inning, Wild Things have had the leadoff man on base here. Let's see if they can capitalize like they did in the third. 0-1 the count to Heck. Here's the pitch. And it's low, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike the count to Heck. We talked about it last time. Heck had a .299 batting average last season, so he gets on base constantly at 1 homer and 16 RBIs. Landchef set in the 1-1. And ball 2, 2 balls and a strike. Heck did play in the game last night, but did not get an at-bat. Came in as a defensive replacement in the 8th inning in left field. That's where he's starting tonight. Landchef set, and the 2-1 coming. Low ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. So after Landchef gets ahead with an 0-1 count, he's thrown 3 straight balls to Andrew Heck. Andrew Heck, no relation to the second baseman Seth Heck out there for the Gateway Grizzlies. Just the same name. The 3-1 coming. Swing and a miss. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Count goes full. 3-2, no outs here in the top of the fourth. Wild Things have a runner at first. That's Dave Popkins after he led off the inning with a single. 1-1 score between the Wild Things and the Grizzlies. Landchef set. The 3-2 coming. Runner takes off for second as Landchef pops this one up. It's out right behind second base. Davis calling everyone off, and he'll make the catch out number 1. Popkins gets back to first base. And Popkins took off on that pitch. Saw where the ball was hit and had to quickly retreat back to first base. Luckily, he gets back in there, and the Wild Things still have their runner at first with 1 out. And that brings up Scott Carcasey. Carcasey struck out in his last at-bat. He struck out looking as he didn't agree with the call. Well, full count, called strike 3. Landchef set in the pitch. This one low in the dirt, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, the count to the Wild Things first baseman. Carcasey, the designated hitter in last night's game. Landchef set. And the 1-0 on the way. And this one chopped up the middle was a hit and run, but right to second base. Davis over to first, and that is a double play. 6-3 double play, and that will end the inning. So no runs on a hit, no errors, and none left here for the Wild Things in the top of the fourth. We're heading to the bottom of the fourth. Right now, your score tied 1-1 between the Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute? That keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise, we ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network, currently tied 1-1 as we go in the bottom of the fourth. 1 run, 3 hits for the Wild Things. 1 run, 2 hits for the Gateway Grizzlies. And last inning, the third inning, both teams scored a run. The Gateway Grizzlies got theirs after a strikeout by Cody Livesey to lead off the inning. Seth Heck got a one-out walk. He was moved over to third on 2 wild pitches by Connor Kendrick, in the inning. And a pop out by Craig Massoni left him at third base, but then an RBI double by Vin Giletti with 2 outs brought him in to tie this game at 1. There was a walk by Brown by Kendrick after the double, but men were stranded at first and second after a ground out by Ben Waldrop to second base. So we're ready to start the bottom of the 4th as Kyle Kendrick finishing his warm-up tosses on the field. And we are getting ready for action. 1-1 the score here between the Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. Bottom of the 4th. And remember, the 4th inning is presented by Chick-fil-A. Visit Chick-fil-A in Washington today. Go get one of their original chicken sandwiches. Decent meal for a good family. Go to Chick-fil-A, get a nice chicken sandwich. A little cheap dinner for the night. This will bring up the first man for the Grizzlies, Brandon Thomas, to lead things off. 7, 8, 9 due up for the Grizzlies in this half inning. Kendrick's given up 2 hits and a run on the day. The first pitch, it's outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. It's the Grizzlies center fielder. Kendrick set and the 1-0 coming. Swing and a miss, 1-1. He blew that fastball right by him. 1 ball, 1 strike, no outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Game tied 1-1 between your Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. Kendrick set and the 1-1 coming. And it's outside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. The count on the Grizzlies center fielder. Kendrick set and the 2-1 coming. Swing and a miss, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Thomas in yesterday's game was 1 for 3 with a single, a walk, and 2 runs scored. Kendrick set in the 2-2. Swung on and fouled away, so the count sticks at 2-2. And for Kyle Kendrick here, had a bit of a control issue back in the 3rd inning, going to 3 3-ball counts to 3 consecutive batters that led to the run. And early in the 1st and 2nd innings, he was working very efficiently. So we'll see if he can get back to the efficiency he saw in the first 2 innings as the 2-2 pitch is fouled off back to the screen. Count remains 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no out. Tie game between your Washington Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. 1-1 here from GCS Bank Stadium in Sauget, Illinois. Kendrick set and the 2-2 coming. And ball 3, low, 3 balls, 2 strikes. His 3rd full count in the last 2 innings for Kendrick, as the Grizzlies forcing him to throw more and more pitches. Kendrick set the 3-2 coming. And low, ball 4, so a leadoff walk gives the Grizzlies their leadoff man on base for the 2nd time in the first 4 innings. That'll bring up the catcher, Tyler Toole. He was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. Toole, as we said, a good offensive night in the first game of the series. Went 2 for 4 with 2 singles. And he reached on an error. Was on base 3 times for the Grizzlies. Kendrick set. And the first pitch coming. Squares the bunt and takes a strike. No balls and a strike. He kind of squared and he kind of took a hack at that ball. It was kind of a half swing by Toole as he missed it. No balls and a strike. 0-1. Kendrick checks Thomas at first. Here's the pitch. Nope. Throw over to first. And Thomas is back. Thomas last season, 8 stolen bases in 41 games. So he has the ability to take off. Good to keep an eye on him, the southpaw Kendrick. Kendrick set and throws over to first. And just gets back in there as Thomas froze for a little bit. A good move by Kendrick, almost getting that base runner. 0-1 the count on Tyler Toole, the catcher. Kendrick set. The 0-1 coming. And this pitch is called a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just a little bit low on that pitch for Kendrick. 1 ball, 1 strike. The left-handed hitting tool. Left on left, Kendrick set. And the 1-1. Swung on and shot foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, no out. Tie game between the Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. 1-1, the score here in the bottom of the 4th. Tyler Toole, a good offensive hitting catcher, is at 275 average last year. Or 270 average, excuse me. Kendrick throws over to first. And Thomas gets back in there. Thomas walked to lead off this inning. This is the second time the Grizzlies have had the leadoff man on base. Kendrick set. And the 1-2 coming. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. It's the second strikeout of the day for Connor Kendrick. And there's 1 away here in the bottom of the 4th. That'll bring up the shortstop, Logan Davis. Davis grounded out to second in his last at-bat. And Davis last year played for the Northwest Arkansas Naturals. Not a very good offensive player. Hit 123, no homers, and 8 RBIs. The first pitch is over for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 here in the bottom of the 4th. Tie game between the Washington Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies. Kendrick set. Checks Thomas at first, and the 1-0. And low and gets away from Sarando. So moving up to first is Thomas. A wild pitch for Kendrick, his 3rd of the day. And those wild pitches costed him back in the 3rd inning. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite him here in the 4th. 2-0 the count now on Logan Davis. Connor Kendrick looking into Sarando. Brandon Thomas, the runner at second. He reached on a walk to lead off the inning. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Tie game 1-1 between the Wild Things and the Grizzlies. Kendrick checks second. Here's the 2-0. Swing and fouled away. 2 balls and a strike. And for Davis last night, he started off the season offensively on the right track. He had 2 singles, 2 for 4, and an RBI in the 5th inning. He drove in the first run of the game for the Grizzlies. Kendrick has his sign from Sarando, checks. Kicks and deals. And this one's low, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike, the count to the Grizzly shortstop. 3-1, 1 away. Cody Livesey on deck. Livesey is 1 for 2, as here's the 3-1. And it's a called strike. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Just on that outside corner. Logan Davis didn't agree as he flipped the bat and started running, or turned and ran to first. But a called strike there by home plate umpire Mike Fitcher. And the count's full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Here's the pitch. And just gets this off the end of the bat, and it's into left field, a base hit. It'll fall in front of Heck. The runner, Thomas, will be held at third. It's a 1-out single for Logan Davis and gives the Grizzlies runners at first and third with 1 away. That was almost trouble for the Wild Things. It was just hit softly enough that I thought they were going to send Thomas home, but the ball got on the ground quick enough, and Heck had the ball as soon as Thomas got to third base, so Thomas had no chance of scoring on the play. With 1 out, runners at first and third, Eddie Sarando relaying the infield signs. It brings up Cody Livesey. Livesey 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout in this game. Double play possibility still in check as Davis the runner at first and Thomas at third. Kendrick set. Here's the pitch. Low ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. These last 2 innings, Livesey having a little bit of a control issue. Very efficient in the first 2 innings, but has kind of failed to find the strike zone here in the last 2. Kendrick setting the 1-0. And it's a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1, 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. Game tied 1-1 between your Gateway Grizzlies and the Washington Wild Things. Oh, your Washington Wild Things and the Gateway Grizzlies, excuse me. Kendrick setting the 1-1. High ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. For Livesey, he had 2 hits in last night's ball game, both singles, and he has a single here tonight. 2 balls, 1 strike, and a pitch. And that's a called strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just on that outside corner is home plate umpire Mike Fitcher giving that outside corner, maybe even a little expanded on the night, as both pitchers have been getting calls out there. The 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. Ground ball, fair ball down the left field line. Thomas will come in to score. Here's Heck's throw to third, and they will gun down the runner at... No! He missed the tag at third base, and Davis is safe. Runners are now at second and third here with only 1 out. As Davis gets in there at third, an RBI double by Cody Livesey, and the Grizzlies take a 2-1 lead. Now that throw in from Heck, it beat the runner. It beat him by a lot, but Haar missed the tag, and it allowed Davis to get in there, and now the runners are at second and third as Sarando comes out to talk to his pitcher. So with runners at second and third and 1 away, the Grizzlies lead 2-1, and it brings up Seth Heck, the second baseman. Seth Heck, not an official at bat yet. He walked in his first 2. Kendrick setting the pitch. And this one a fly ball to center. Jamal Austin coming in. Might not be deep enough. Heck calls him out, makes the catch. And Davis faked the run from third as he forced the throw. That's a fly out, and that's the second out of the inning. So second and third, 2 outs now. Grizzlies have a 2-1 lead, and that'll bring up the third baseman, Craig Masoni. Masoni popped out to second base in his first 2 at-bats. And fans, the Wild Things are offering a Flex Plan promotion. Get a 12-ticket plan for the price of a 10-ticket plan. Flex Plans are great for people who have hectic schedules and can't take advantage of a typical season ticket package because they're not sure which games they can attend. A Flex Plan gets you ticket vouchers at a reduced cost, and you can redeem them whenever it's convenient for you. Call the box office today for more information. Kendrick's first pitch to Masoni is high and inside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to Craig Masoni, the third baseman for the Grizzlies. Grizzlies have a 2-1 lead as they scored in this inning after the RBI double by Cody Livesey. And this pitch is fouled off. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs here. Grizzlies lead 2-1. Cody Livesey, the RBI double. This inning started with a leadoff walk to Brandon Thomas. Another wild pitch by Kendrick moved him up to second. A single by Logan Davis got him over to third. And the RBI double by Livesey allowed him to come in and score. Kendrick setting the 1-1 coming. And just inside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Grizzlies lead 2-1. Kendrick set. Here's the 2-1. And it's a ball. 3 balls and a strike. Kendrick can't find that inside corner. Kendrick in danger of loading the bases. 3 balls and a strike, 2 outs. Kendrick set. The 3-1 coming. And this one, a fly ball to left field. It's going back. Heck turns and watches it sail out of here. A 3-run home run for Craig Masoni, and the Wild Things break things open. Now they lead 5-1. A mistake pitch there by Connor Kendrick. It was right down the middle. A 3-run shot puts the Grizzlies up by 4 here in the bottom of the 4th. And Kendrick just left that pitch right down the middle, and it was jacked out to left field. His first home run of the season for Craig Masoni, as he drives in 3 on that one. And that will bring up Vin Giletti. But first, manager Greg Langbin coming to the mound to pull his pitcher. So that spells the end of the night for Connor Kendrick. We'll be right back here on the MSA Sports Network. Gateway Grizzlies lead this one 5-1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We are back here on the Wild Things in the MSA Sports Network as manager Greg Langbin just pulled his starting pitcher Connor Kendrick. Kendrick, final line on him, 3 2/3 innings, 2 strikeouts, 3 walks, 5 hits, allowed 5 runs, and 5 earned. He threw 81 pitches on the night. And now coming to the game to pitch for the Wild Things will be Jeremy Holcomb, the 6'3", 195-pound right-hander, as he tries to limit the damage here in this game, finishing up his warm-up tosses. So we saw a really good start yesterday from Trevor Foss, but in today's game, not so much from Connor Kendrick. The first 2 innings went pretty well as he was efficiently getting runners out and got out of the first inning after allowing a 2-out walk, and got out of the second got out of the second inning after hitting a batter and allowing him on. But after that, he just lost control of his pitches. And now Jeremy Holcomb in to pitch to face Vin Giletti, the first baseman today. Giletti, 1 for 2 with an RBI against the starter Kendrick. Holcomb set in the first pitch. And taken low for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Grizzlies lead 5-1. This ball's fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike. This inning started with a leadoff walk and then a wild pitch by Connor Kendrick. A single by Logan Davis moved up runners to first and third with only 1 away. And then an RBI double by Cody Livesey drove in the second run of the game for the Grizzlies, gave them a 2-1 lead. And after a fly out to left by Seth Heck, Craig Masoni crushes a 3-run home run to left field to give the Gateway Grizzlies a 5-1 lead. Holcomb set in the pitch. And this ball is high. Ball 2. 2 balls and a strike to Vin Giletti. Giletti, as we said, drove in the first run of the game for the Gateway Grizzlies. The 2-1 coming. And 3 balls and a strike. 3-1 the count here on Giletti. Here's the 3-1. And this one's popped over to the left side. Har going over, being called off by Heck, and Heck will make the catch in foul territory, and that is out number 3. However, in the inning, the Gateway Grizzlies get 4 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and none left on. After 4 here, the Gateway Grizzlies jump out to a 5-1 lead. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We are back here on the MSA Sports Network, coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball this whole 2016 season. I'm Zach Ziegler. I will bring you all the action all season long. A big inning for the Gateway Grizzlies back in the 4th as they score 4 and jumped out to a 5-1 lead. The inning started with a leadoff walk to Brandon Thomas. After a wild pitch by starter Connor Kendrick, he moved up to second. Logan Davis hit a 1-out single, moving runners to first and third, followed by an RBI double by Cody Livesey to score score Thomas and give the Gateway a 2-1 lead. Then looked like Kendrick was going to get out of it. He got Seth Heck to fly out to left with 2 outs, but the very next batter, Craig Masoni, hit a 3-run home run over the left field ball to make the score 5-1 Gateway. And then Jeremy Holcomb came in and got the last out of that 4th inning. Wild Things coming back to the plate here in the 5th leads off with catcher Eddie Sarando. No official at bat for Sarando yet as he walked back in the 2nd inning. Landchef set in the first pitch to Sarando. Outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. The count to the Wild Things catcher. Kyle Pollock initially starting this game, but we got word just before first pitch that he was dealing with a bicep injury. Landchef set in the 1-0. That's high, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes on the Wild Thing catcher. Wild Things down 4. Gateway leads 5-1 here in the top of the 5th. Landchef's 2-0. Low ball 3. As Landchef comes in after his team scored him 4 runs in the bottom of the 4th, and it's a little wild early on. 3 balls, no strikes the count. Here's the 3-0. And outside, ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk to start the inning, and if you're the Wild Things, that's exactly what you wanted. The leadoff base runner reaches for the 3rd consecutive inning as they'll try to string together some hits here and get back into this game. As Justin Fox will step in. He struck out in his first at-bat. The Wild Things scored a run back in the 3rd when they got their leadoff man on. That was Jamal Austin after his leadoff double. He moved up on a wild pitch. Austin Wobrock would ground him over to 3rd, and then a ground ball by Brian Haar brought him in for the only Wild Things run on the day. Justin Fox steps in now. Runner at first is Sarando. Landchef checks him at first. And the pitch coming. And a called strike, no balls and a strike on Fox. Justin Fox played for Rockford Aviators last year at 264, excuse me. 3 homers, 20 RBIs. And the next pitch, called strike, no balls, 2 strikes. 0-2, no outs. Justin Fox, the second baseman for the Wild Things. Eddie Sarando on first after reaching on a leadoff walk. Landchef set in the 0-2. Swing and a miss, and that's the 2nd strikeout of the day for Justin Fox, and the first out here in the top of the 5th. Last time Fox struck out looking, this time swinging, as he just couldn't catch up with that pitch. That'll bring up Jamal Austin, 1 for 2 with a double. Landchef set, checks Sarando at first, and the pitch. Low in the dirt, nice block by Toole behind the plate, keeps Sarando where he is. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Gateway leads 5-1 here in the top of the 5th over your Washington Wild Things. They look to claw back into this game. Landchef set in the 1-0. Low and another nice block by Toole, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Landchef, despite some control issues, has been pretty effective on the mound. Landchef set, and the 2-0 coming. And a called strike, 2 balls and a strike as Austin takes that one. Sarando reached to lead off the inning with a walk. He was the 3rd consecutive leadoff batter to reach for the Wild Things on the night. Landchef set, and the 2-1 coming. And that's a called strike, 2 balls, 2 strikes, right at the knees to the Wild Things center fielder. Here in Sauget, Illinois, you're listening to the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count, 1 out here in the top of the 5th. And the pitch coming. Swung on and missed. It's the 2nd strikeout of the inning. So 2 away after the leadoff walk, and that brings up Austin Wobrock. Wobrock's grounded out to short in his first 2 at-bats. And fans, Wednesdays are bucket hat days at the park this summer. For $15, you can get a reserved seat and a Wild Things bucket hat. What a great deal. And on Sundays, be sure to bring your church bullets into the park, and we'll give you a $2 discount on your tickets. Landchef sets, and the first pitch is a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1. 5-1 Gateway lead here in the top of the fifth. 2 outs, runner at first for the Wild Things. Landchef set in the 0-1. This one's fouled back to the screen. No balls, 2 strikes. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the fifth. Grizzlies lead the Wild Things 5-1. Landchef looking to tool. He's set. And the 0-2 coming. Outside ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes here to Wobrock. Wobrock in yesterday's game reached base 3 times. Or reached base twice, 2 walks and a sac fly. Here's the pitch. And chopped. Diving can't get us the first baseman. Gathered by the second baseman. Throws on to first. And that is out number 3. 4-3 on the putout. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left after the walk in the inning. And after 4.5, your score, Gateway Grizzlies 5, Washington Wild Things 1. We'll be right back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise, we ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the Washington Wild Things MSA Sports coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. I'm Zach Ziegler. Currently going to the bottom of the fifth. The Gateway Grizzlies lead your Washington Wild Things 5-1. The score after a big 4-run fourth inning puts them out to the score they are at now with a 5-1 lead. Back on the mound for the Wild Things, Jeremy Holcomb. He took over last inning to get the final out. His first full inning of work. And Holcomb last season pitched for the Wild Things and had a record of 1-4 with a 5.15 ERA, 22 strikeouts, 15 walks, 35 hits allowed, 24 runs, 21 of them earned in 36 2/3 of an inning. So for Holcomb here, the real key is not allow the Grizzlies to score. You got to keep your team in, get the Wild Things back to the bat racks, and try to get these runs back. They're currently down 5-1. Not quite out of this game yet. The bottom of the fifth, only down by 4. Still have plenty of chances offensively to rebound as Holcomb's warm-up pitches are finishing. Due up this inning for the Grizzlies, Blake Brown, Ben Waldrop, and Brandon Thomas. Here in the fifth. And we are ready to start action. Blake Brown stepping in, 0-for-1 with a walk as he reached back in the third inning. We're here in Sauget, Illinois. You're listening to MSA Sports coverage of the Washington Wild Things baseball team. Holcomb set. Here's the pitch. And this ball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. And if you're Holcomb, you just want to pound the strike zone here. Trust your defense, get some outs, and keep your team in this game. Holcomb set and the 1-0 coming. Swung on and missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 as Brown kind of went out of the zone for that one. Holcomb has his sign from Serrano. He's setting the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs. Here in the bottom of the fifth, Gateway leads Washington 5-1. Holcomb set, the 1-2 coming. And checks his swing, but it's outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. No outs here in the bottom of the fifth. Grizzlies lead the Wild Things 5-1. Holcomb set and the 2-2 coming. Checks his swing, and no, he did not go around, says the home plate umpire. Ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. If you're Holcomb, you want to keep the leadoff batter off base here in the fifth. Holcomb set in the 3-2. Outside ball 4. So leadoff walk gives the Grizzlies a leadoff base runner for the second inning in a row. The fourth inning also started with a leadoff walk. That'll bring up Ben Waldrop, the designated hitter. Waldrop 0 for 2 on the day, flew out and grounded out. Waldrop, part of that ninth inning rally for the Grizzlies in last night's game. They just came up short, losing 4-3 to the Wild Things. Right now, they lead 5-1 in Game 2. Holcomb has a sign from Sarando. He's set in the first pitch. Is high and outside, 1 ball, no strikes. 1 ball, no strikes. Holcomb set. Checks Brown at first. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. No outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Grizzlies lead 5-1. Waldrop last year hit .289 for these Grizzlies. 10 homers, 65 RBIs. Holcomb set and the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Waldrop has some power as he's had 10 homers for the Grizzlies last season. As the Grizzlies look to add on, the Wild Things look to keep him off the board. Holcomb has his sign for Sarando. Set in the pitch. In the dirt, bounces in front of the plate. Nice block by Sarando. Snap throw to first. And Thomas does get back in there. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Nice job by Sarando to get down and get in front of that ball. 2-2 the count. No outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Grizzlies lead 5-1. Holcomb set. And the 2-2 coming. Swing and a line drive to center field. Austin coming in. It'll be right at him for out number 1. Austin initially ran in on that ball, but it ended up hanging up and going right to him for the first out, leaving the runner at first. And that'll bring up Brandon Thomas. He started the 4-run inning last inning for the Gateway Grizzlies with a leadoff walk. He's 0 for 1 on the day. And Jeremy Holcomb having to take over for Kendrick after 3 2/3 innings. So Holcomb will look to throw a couple innings here. The first pitch. And it's outside ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to the Grizzly center fielder. Leadoff walk to Blake Brown has the Grizzlies with a runner at first here with 1 out. They lead 5-1 over the Wild Things. Holcomb set, and the 1-0 coming. Runner takes off for second. Here's Sarando's throw, and it's not in time as Thomas will get in there. Brown will get in there for his first stolen base. Gives the Grizzlies a runner at second now with 1 away. Brandon Thomas the batter. Holcomb set. Checks Brown at second. Here's the 1-1. And this one driven. Deep right field. Popkins turns and watches this one sail out of here. A 2-run homer for Brandon Thomas. Extends this lead to 7-1 Grizzlies here in the bottom of the 5th. That ball right down the middle of the plate. And Thomas took advantage, crushing it over that short porch in right field. And now it's a 7-1 lead for the Gateway Grizzlies. And if you're the Wild Things, don't give up hope. You're still in this game. It's only the bottom of the 5th, so you still have some time to get back. Have to get back to the bat racks, and hopefully you can get things going offensively. As this will bring up catcher Tyler Toole for the Grizzlies. First pitch to Toole is a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. And this one's hit high. Popkins camping under this one in right field, though. He'll make the catch, and that's out number 2. Second out of the inning. Wild Things down 7-1 to the Gateway Grizzlies. As that'll bring up the shortstop Logan Davis. Davis 1 for 2 with a single. After retiring the Gateway Grizzlies quickly in the first 2 innings, the Wild Things have allowed the Grizzlies to score in each of the last 3. So Logan Davis steps in. Holcomb set, the first pitch coming. And low and inside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to the Grizzly shortstop. Gateway leads 7-1 over Washington here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's the 1-0, and this one lined to right field. Popkins over and makes the sliding catch. What a grab by Dave Popkins to end the inning. But the Gateway Grizzlies do add 2 more runs in the inning on 1 hit, the 2-run homer, no errors, and none left. After 5 innings of play here from Sauget, Illinois and GCS Bank Stadium, the Gateway Grizzlies lead your Washington Wild Things 7-1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on MSA Sports Network's coverage of the Washington Wild Things. We have you covered all season long for 2016 Frontier League season. Currently, the Wild Things down 7-1 to the Gateway Grizzlies as we enter the top of the 6th. But hey fans, Washington County's got something for you. Indoors, outdoors, history, sports, gaming, shopping. This is the place for your next adventure. Brought to you by Washington County Tourism Promotion Agency. Visit them at visitwashingtoncountypa.com. And right-hander Will Landchef still on the mound for the Gateway Grizzlies, pitching well on the day, allowing only 1 run in his 5 innings of work up to this point. Only Wild Things run coming back in the 3rd inning. Jamal Austin led off that inning with a double, moved up on a wild pitch, a ground out by Austin Wilbrock moved from the 3rd, and a ground out by Brian Haar scored him. That's how the Wild Things scored their run back in the 3rd inning. Back at the bat racks here in the 6th, it'll be Brian Haar, Jimmy Yezzo, and Dave Popkins due up. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters looking to get something going for this Wild Things offense. Brian Haar getting ready to step in. He today is 0 for 1 with a walk. He reached back in the 1st on that 2-out walk we were talking about. And Will Landchef, despite control issues, has been pitching very well for the Gateway Grizzlies on the mound, has given them a great start as the first pitch. Low and away, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to Brian Haar, the Wild Things third baseman. Last night, Haar struck out twice, but did reach on a walk. He was 0 for 3. The 1-0. And a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1, nobody out here in the top of the 6th. 7-1 Gateway lead. Landchef setting the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And ever since running into trouble in that 3rd inning, Landchef has really become in control of this game. Retired the Wild Things 1-2-3 in the 4th. Allowed 1 walk, but got out of it in the 5th. And now a 1-2 count as this ball's in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-2. As Landchef looks in for his sign from Toole. He has it, he's set, and here comes the 2-2. And this one's fouled off to the right. Count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. Haar last year was in the Minnesota Twins organization in single A at 246, a homer, and 23 RBIs. Hitting in the 3rd spot in the Wild Things lineup this season. The 2-2. And low ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And count to Haar. Count goes full as the Wild Things look to get a leadoff base runner. Here it would be the 4th inning in a row they have the leadoff guy on if he can get there, and Haar reaches with a walk. So for the 4th inning in a row, the Wild Things have the leadoff man on and look to capitalize. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Jimmy Yezzo. Yezzo 0 for 2 today, 2 pop-outs to the infield. And Yezzo in last night's game was 1 for 4 with an RBI single. He drove in the big insurance run in the 8th inning. 7-1 Gateway leads. Lanchef set. Checks hard at first. Here's the pitch. And this one fouled back behind the screen. No balls and a strike. Yezo, the Wild Things first baseman last night. The designated hitter tonight is Scott Carcasey. Takes over the duties at first base here in Game 2. Lanchef set. Checks hard at first. He's set in the 0-1. Low and inside, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to the Wild Things designated hitter. Game 3 of this series tomorrow, 3:05 first pitch Central Time, 4:05 Eastern. The 1-1 from Lanchef. Called strike, 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2, nobody out here in the top of the 6th. Wild Things do have a runner at first. Lanchef set. The 1-2 coming. Inside, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Har reached to begin this inning with a leadoff walk. It's the 4th straight inning the Wild Things have had the leadoff man on base. Only capitalized once in those 4 innings. Looking to do so again here in the 6th. Lanchef set. The 2-2, throw over to first. And Har's back. Yezo hitting in the cleanup spot. Hit 3 homers last season for the Washington Wild Things. Lanchef setting the pitch. And a fly ball to left. Going over to foul territory is Livesey, and he somehow made the catch, and off of first is Har, and he will not get back in time. That's a double play. It looked from here like Livesey had some problems with it in left field. He was able to somehow make the catch, and then Har caught off of first base. He can't tag up in time, and that's now 2 outs here in the top of the 6th, and David Popkins coming to bat. Popkins 1 for 2 on the day. Livesey was going back to that left field corner. It looked like he had some trouble. I didn't actually know if he made the catch initially, but it turns out he did, and Brian Har didn't know if he had the catch either. It was caught off first base as Popkins pops this one up. Davis going out. Livesey coming in. Livesey calls him off, and he'll make the catch. That is out number 3. So after the leadoff walk, the Wild Things do not capitalize as no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. And after 5.5, it's the Gateway Grizzlies 7, Washington Wild Things 1. You're listening to MSA Sports coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network. It actually wasn't caught, so Popkins reaches, and he's on second base now with 2 outs. So Andrew Heck batting with a runner at second. Dave Popkins, that ball dropped in. It looked like Livesey caught the ball, but he didn't. As Heck able to make it to second. So score an error there. Lanchef set, Popkins at second. Here's the 2-0. Swing, 2 balls and a strike. So that ball dropped in front of Livesey. I thought he made that catch, and he did not, allowing Popkins to get the second on the air. Two-base error. Lanchef set, checks Popkins at second. The 2-1. Ball 3, 3 balls and a strike. So with 2 outs and a runner at second now, after the error on left fielder Cody Livesey. Andrew Heck batting, 3 balls and a strike. Lanchef set, the 3-1. And a called strike, 3 balls, 2 strikes. So Wild Things still alive here in the top of the 6th after that error by Livesey. Popkins the runner at second, 2 away. Landchef texts Popkin at second. Here's the 3-2. And check swing. They say he went around. And that is a strikeout. And that will end the inning. So no runs, no hits, 1 error in the inning, and 1 man left on. And after 5.5, your score, Gateway Grizzlies 7, Washington Wild Things 1. You're listening to MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball here from Sauget, Illinois. I'm Zach Ziegler calling all the Wild Things action. Wild Things currently down 7-1 to the Gateway Grizzlies in Game 2 of the 3-game series. They pulled out the victory in Game 1, a 4-3 victory, as they had a big 3-run 5th inning, allowing them to take a early lead, and then a insurance run by Jimmy Yezzo in the 8th inning got them the ultimate victory. Hey fans, you know you can receive $100 when you open a new checking account with Clearview Federal Credit Union? Visit them at clearviewfcu.org for more details. And also be sure to join us for the Wild Things home opener on Friday, May 20th, presented by 5 Generations Bakers. And due up for the Grizzlies this half inning in the bottom of the 6th will be Cody Livesey, Seth Heck, and Craig Masoni as Livesey steps in here. Bottom 6, Gateway up 7-1. The first pitch to Livesey is a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0, nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th, and the 1-0 pitch fouled off Sorondo, 1 ball, 1 strike. He shakes that one off. 1-1 the count. And for Gateway, there is action in the bullpen. As Nate Carter warming up. And Landchef has thrown 6 innings, giving up 1 run on 3 hits. So Carter's still out there in the bullpen. And we'll see if he comes in next inning. Holcomb set. The 1-1 coming. And this one fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here in the bottom of the 6th. Gateway Grizzlies up 7-1 over your Washington Wild Things. Here's the 1-2. Called strike 3, and Livesey strikes out to lead off the 6th inning. That's the first strikeout on the day for Holcomb. And that'll bring up Seth Heck for the Gateway Grizzlies. 0 for 1 with 2 walks on the night. So he's reached base twice. And for Holcomb, he's done a pretty nice job coming into this game in the bottom of the 4th. He has given up two runs on the 1 home run by Brandon Thomas. But other than that, he's been pitching effectively. First pitch is a strike to Seth Heck. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count to the Grizzlies' second baseman. Holcomb set in the 0-1. And this one high, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike the count to the Grizzlies' second baseman. And really the wind we were talking about in the beginning of the game that was blowing in from right field has died down. And that's why those balls have been able to carry. And this ball is flying into center field, a base hit. So a 1-out single for Seth Heck gives the Grizzlies a 1-out base runner. And that'll bring up Craig Masoni. Masoni, the big hit in this game to this point, a 3-run homer in the 4th inning. They got the Grizzlies out to a 5-1 lead. The Grizzlies would add 2 later on the 2-run homer by Brandon Thomas. And Masoni last year for these Wild Things hit 7 home runs, So showing his pop in this game, his first home run of the 2016 season. Holcomb setting the pitch. Low and inside, ball one. It got away from Sarando for a second, but he's able to corral it and keep the runner at first base. Seth Heck reached base twice today on 2 walks. Holcomb set, and the 1-0 coming. And that's a called strike, 1 ball and a strike. 1-1 the count, 1 out. Here on the Grizzlies' second baseman. On the Grizzlies' third baseman, Craig Masoni. Holcomb set, and the 1-1 coming. Ground ball. Not called fair. Foul ball down the left field line. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hit that one sharply, and I was waiting to see if field umpire Tom Swoboda was going to call that fair or foul. It took him a little bit, but he does get the foul call. So it's 1-2 now with 1 out and a runner at first for the Grizzlies. Grizzlies lead 7-1 here over the Wild Things in Game 2 of a 3-game series from Sauget, Illinois. Holcomb set, checks the runner at first, and the 1-2. And it's high ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count on Masoni. Holcomb set, checks the runner Heck at first, and the 2-2 coming. And low ball 3, so the count is full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Holcomb does not want to walk Masoni and give the Gateway Grizzlies yet another runner in scoring position. The Grizzlies have scored in each of the last 3 innings. The 3-2. This ball hit the right field. Popkins moving over, and he's not going to be able to make the catch. It drops in front of him. Fox corrals it, and Heck had to make sure it wasn't going to be caught. Now he moves up to second, so the Grizzlies have runners at first and second here with only 1 away. They already lead 7-1, and again, they have a runner in scoring position. They've scored a run in each of the last 3 innings of play. 1 run in the fourth, 1 run in the third inning, 4 runs in the fourth, and 2 runs back in the fifth. And this will bring up Vin Giletti, the first baseman. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI double. Holcomb set. And the first pitch coming to Giletti. This one hit a ton to left field. Heck going over. And it's gone. A 3-run homer for Vin Giletti, and the damage continues. He has 4 RBIs on the day, and that makes the score Grizzlies 10, Wild Things 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. And that ball was just left right down the middle by Holcomb, and it was smacked out over the wall. 10-1 lead for the Gateway Grizzlies here in the bottom of the 6th. And if you're the Wild Things, you can't let that affect you. You still got to come out and compete and maybe try to get back into this game. Bottom of the 6th, the 4th consecutive inning the Gateway Grizzlies have scored, and that'll bring up Blake Brown, the right fielder. Wild Things down 10-1 here. As Holcomb set, and the first pitch coming. And the first pitch is a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Blake Brown 0 for 1, 2 walks on the day. And the next pitch is called a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Here's the 1-1. And this ball is low and outside. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1. Gateway leads 10-1 over the Wild Things here at GCS Bank Stadium. Holcomb setting the 2-1. Outside ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. 3 runs home already in this inning. Holcomb setting the 3-1. And this one hit foul off to the right, so count goes to 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Gateway leads 10-1 here over the Wild Things. Holcomb setting the 3-2 coming. And low and outside, ball 4. So Brown reaches here after the 3-run homer by Vin Giletti, giving the Gateway Grizzlies yet another base runner, and that'll bring up Ben Waldrop, the designated hitter. Waldrop 0 for 3 on the day, 2 flyouts and a ground out. And fans, every Friday night is a fireworks night at Consol Energy Park. Enjoy a spectacular fireworks display after all Friday night Wild Things home games this season. Runner on first, 1 out for the Grizzlies. They're up 10-1. Here's the pitch from Holcomb. Swing and a miss, no balls and a strike. The batter, Ben Waldrop, 0 for 3 on the day. And there is action in the Wild Things bullpen. Brian O'Keefe starting to throw out there. No balls and a strike. Holcomb set, and the pitch. And this ball fouled off. Count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. 10-1 Grizzly lead in the bottom of the 6th. As yesterday, Waldrop, a returner to these Grizzlies, hit .289, 10 homers, 65 RBIs a year ago. The 0-2. And a called strike 3. He strikes out. That's the second out of the inning. Grizzlies still have that runner on first after Blake Brown walked following the 3-run home run. That'll bring up Brandon Thomas. Thomas 1 for 2 with a 2-run homer back in the 5th. That made the score 7-1. Holcomb set. And the first pitch to Thomas is outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Bottom of the 6th, Gateway leads 10-1 over the Wild Things. Holcomb set, and the 1-0 coming. Swing and a miss, 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count, and for the Wild Things, you just got to keep playing. You're down 9 here in the bottom of the 6th. Keep playing hard, get back to the bat racks, and string a couple of hits together. Holcomb set in the 1-1. And low ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1, 2 outs. Jeremy Holcomb on the mound. He has his sign from Sorondo. He's set, the 2-1 coming. And this one grounded to second. Fox has it. He'll handle it and throw on to first. And that's out number 3. But the Grizzlies add 3 more runs in the inning on 3 hits, no errors, and they leave a man on. After 6 innings of play here from GCS Bank Stadium, your score, Gateway Grizzlies 10, Washington Wild Things 1. You're listening to Wild Things Baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We are back here on the MSA Sports Network. New pitcher for the Gateway Grizzlies. It'll be Nate Carter coming into the game as the book is closed on Will Lanchef. Lanchef ends the day going 6 innings, giving up 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. The new pitcher for the Grizzlies, as we said, Nate Carter enters the game here. And Carter last season pitched for the GCL Tigers, just below single A. He went 1-0 with a 2.25 ERA, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, 3 hits allowed in his time with single A. So Carter takes over, and due up for the Wild Things this inning, we have Scott Carcasey, Eddie Sorondo, and Justin Fox as the Wild Things look to get back to the bat racks and get something going on offense. Even though you're down by 9 here, you still have a shot if you can string some hits together and get back in this game. And for Lanchef, through 99 pitches, just a tick below the 100-pitch mark that's usually the capper for pitchers, starting pitchers these days. So he will exit. And Carter only threw 8 innings for those GCL Tigers last year, gave up 3 runs, 2 earned. He appeared in 4 games for them a year ago. So Nate Carter takes over as Scott Carcasey steps in to start things off here in the top of the 7th. Gateway up 10-1. So Carter, the new pitcher for the Grizzlies. So Wild Things look to get something going offensively. Carter setting the pitch. And Carcasey takes it for strike 1. No balls, 1 strike to Carcasey. Carcasey playing first base tonight after being the DH in last night's game. Carter setting the pitch. And the 0-1 hits the right center field gap. Going over is Thomas, and he will camp under it to make the catch. Out number 1 here in the 7th. That ball was given a ride by Carcasey, just not enough on it to get out of here. And that'll bring up the catcher, Eddie Sarando. Sarando, not an official at bat yet. 2 walks on the day. Nate Carter, the new pitcher. The final line on Will Landchef, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run it was earned, 5 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Carter's pitch is low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Sarando didn't walk at all in limited action last year. Has 2 walks today. The next pitch is a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Wild Things down 10-1 to the Gateway Grizzlies in Game 2 of the 3-game series from GCS Stadium. Carter set. The 1-1 coming. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Sarando, not the starter in this game officially, as Kyle Pollock was initially the starter, but we learned he had a bicep injury minutes before first pitch, so the change was made. The 1-2 fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes still, and the Gateway Grizzlies guys hiding for covers. That hit off the top rail of their dugout. A couple guys ducking out of the way, and luckily nobody hurt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Landchef setting the pitch. Checks his swing. It's outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Carter set. And the 2-2 coming. Swing and a miss, and Sarando strikes out. So quickly 2 away here in the top of the 7th for Nate Carter, and that'll bring up Justin Fox. Fox struck out in both at-bats tonight. He's 0 for 2. He did enter last night's game as a defensive replacement in the 8th inning at second base. Carter set. And the pitch coming to Fox. And it's a called strike. No balls and a strike. Carter set. And the 0-1 coming. And this one popped up foul territory off the right. Giving chase is Giletti, and it will go just out of play. So the count goes to 0-2. Giletti gave that ball a chase, but it falls just behind that screen on the right side. As Giletti gave nice look over there. Justin Fox up. 2 strikeouts on the day. Carter set, and the 0-2 coming to Fox. Inside, ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count to the Wild Things second baseman. Wild Things down 10-1 here to Gateway. Carter looking in to Toole for his sign. And he steps off, doesn't like what he sees. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's a 10-1 lead for Gateway here in the top of the 7th. Carter setting the 1-2. Checks his swing, but it's outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Count on the Wild Things second baseman. Carter set. 2 outs. Here's the pitch. And this one lined into right field. Going back is Brown. And he makes the catch on the warning track for out number 3. Fox gave that one a ride towards the short porch in right field. And 1, 2, 3 go the Wild Things. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. And after 6.5, your score. Gateway Grizzlies 10, Washington Wild Things 1. You're listening to MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network. New pitcher for the Washington Wild Things, as it is Brian O'Keefe now on the mound. As Jeremy Holcomb's night is done, O'Keefe, the 5'11", 185-pound left-hander from Milford, Connecticut. The second lefty that the Wild Things have thrown out there on the mound today. As O'Keefe pitched in the California Winter League, and I was talking to manager Greg Langbin, and they signed him right before the season. They liked what he saw in his arm. They thought he had good velocity, and he was going to be an asset to their team. Signed him before the California Winter League started, and he was able to get him. As Holcomb's night is done, Holcomb ends up throwing 2 1/3 innings out of the bullpen, as he struck out 3 in his 2 1/3 innings of work. Brian O'Keefe, the new pitcher for the Wild Things, as we get started to start the bottom of the 7th. Gateway Grizzlies up 10-1 over the Washington Wild Things. Five runs allowed by Holcomb, as both pitchers on the mound have allowed 5. O'Keefe's first pitch, and it's high and away, ball 1, as the batter's Tyler Toole. Toole 0 for 2, hit by a pitch back in the second. O'Keefe's 1-0, swing and a miss, 1 ball, 1 strike. You're listening to MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. The Wild Things down 10-1 to the Grizzlies, as the 1-1 is high, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike, the count to the Grizzlies catcher. The 2-1 coming, and this one hit the left field. Heck will camp under it, and he will make the catch, out number 1. So 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th, as we'll have a pinch hitter here for the Wild Things, as it'll be Steve Pasquale coming to the plate. Pasquale hitting for Logan Davis, and last season Pasquale played for Viterbo University. He hit .288 with a homer and 13 RBIs, 4 doubles and 1 triple on that year. So he's making his Frontier League debut. O'Keefe set. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Pasquale, the pinch hitter for Logan Davis. Davis ends the night 1 for 3. The 1-1 is low, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike, the count on Pasquale. The 2-1 coming. And this one, fly ball to right field. Popkins ranging over, and he will make the catch, out number 2. So quickly 2 away for O'Keefe here in the bottom of the 7th, and that brings up Cody Livesey. Livesey 2 for 4 with a single, a double, and a run scored and an RBI on the day. And Cody Livesey, 2 for 5 in yesterday's game, 2 for 4 today. So starting off the year good at the plate. As he scored a run, drove in a run today. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Gateway leads 10-1. Here's the pitch. It's high ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, the count to Livesey. The 1-0. And just inside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. 2-0 the count on Livesey. Here's O'Keefe's 2-0. That's a called strike. 2 balls and a strike. Two balls, 1 strike. O'Keefe said, here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and that will end the inning. 1-2-3 go the Gateway Grizzlies, and after 7, your score, Grizzlies 10, Wild Things 1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things coverage here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise, we ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We are back here in the top of the 8th inning. A couple of changes for the Gateway Grizzlies. Steve Pasquale stays in the game to play shortstop, and now pitching for the Gateway Grizzlies is John Jones, the 6'4", 215-pound right-hander from Fredericksburg, Virginia. That'll close the book on Carter, as Carter throws a scoreless inning of work against the Wild Things. Currently up for the Wild Things this inning. The top of the order, Jamal Austin, Austin Wolbrock, and Brian Haar. As Jones going through his final pitches. A 1-2-3 inning for Nate Carter, as he didn't strike out a man, didn't walk anybody, gave up no hits, no runs, no earned. So a nice, tidy, scoreless inning for Nate Carter, and now pitching John Jones. As we said, due up for the Wild Things, the top of the orders. They're down 10-1 to the Gateway Grizzlies. Here in the top of inning number 8, looking to get something going offensively. Jamal Austin, before he steps in, 1 for 3 with a double, and he scored the only run of the day for the Washington Wild Things. And Sundays are Kids Club days at Consol Energy Park. Children 12 and under can join the club for free. They get lots of perks, including a t-shirt, giveaway items, and free tickets to all Kids Club days. For more information, log on to WashingtonWildThings.com or call the box office at 855-456-WILD. The Kids Club is sponsored by Kona Ice, MedExpress, PA Leadership Charter School, Pepsi, and Frito-Lay. Jamal Austin steps in, and we are ready to start the top of the 8th inning. Wild Things down 10-1 to the Gateway Grizzlies. As here's Jones' first pitch. And it's a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Austin scored the first run of the game for these Wild Things back in the 3rd inning. The 1 ball, no strike pitch. Way inside, ball 2. 2-0 the count to the Wild Things center fielder. Jamal Austin, a speedster. If he can get on, he could cause trouble in the base paths. Jones set in the 2-0. Inside, ball 3 as the ball bounces off the catcher. 3-0. Goes towards the Wild Things dugout. Three balls, no strikes, nobody out here in the top of the 8th. Wild Things down 10-1 to the Gateway Grizzlies. Jones set, and the 3-0 going to be on the way. And that's a called strike, 3 balls and a strike. That one just hit the inside corner. Jamal Austin, as we said, 9 steals last year for the Sussex County Miners. Here's a pitch, and this one popped up. Toole coming out, and now coming in and making the... No, he dropped it! Masoni dropped the ball, and now Austin will move up to second on the air. So the Wild Things get a runner in scoring position after the error by Craig Masoni. Gets them a runner in scoring position here with nobody out. And Toole and Jones were both going for that ball, and then Masoni called everyone off, and he just couldn't handle it. The ball hit the tip of his glove and just dropped there on the infield. So the Wild Things have a leadoff runner in scoring position for Austin Wobrock. Wobrock 0 for 3 today. He's grounded out in all 3 at-bats. Jones has his sign from Toole. He's set. And the pitch. And it's called strike. No balls and a strike to Wobrock. 0-1, no outs. Gateway leads 10-1 here over the Washington Wild Things. Jones has his sign. He's set. And the 0-1 coming. Outside ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. John Jones played for the Winnipeg Golden Eyes last year. 0-2 count on Jones, 5.71 ERA. Jones setting the 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wild Things have a runner in scoring position after the error by Craig Masoni as he dropped the pop-up on the infield. One ball, 2 strike the count here on Wobrock. Jones is set, and the 1-2 coming. And a swing and a miss, and Wobrock strikes out as he went chasing on that one. 1 away here in the top of the 8th. So after the leadoff man reaches on the error by the third baseman Craig Masoni and Wobrock strikes out, up comes Brian Haar. Haar 0 for 1, 2 walks on the day. He was involved in a bizarre double play back in the 6th inning. He was on first base, and Jimmy Yezzo hit a fly ball deep in the left field gap, went all the way into the corner. It looked like Livesey had trouble handling it, but he was able to make the catch, and Haar was caught off first as he was doubled up as they threw back and got him out as the first pitch is a strike. No balls, or ball, 1 ball, no strike, excuse me. 1 ball, no strikes. Jamal Austin, the runner at second for the Wild Things. Jones set. Checks the runner at second. Here's the 1-0. And low ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes, the count to the Wild Things third baseman. 1 out here in the top of the 8th. You're listening to the MSA Sports Network from Sauget, Illinois. I'm Zach Ziegler calling all the Washington Wild Things action this season. Jones set, checks Austin at second, the 2-0. And this ball cracked to left field. Back, and it will exit stage left. A 2-run homer for Brian Haar, and the Wild Things get 2 back. It's now 10-3. After the 2-run homer by Brian Haar, the Wild Things, maybe with some life, down by 7. Haar's first home run of the season, the first Wild Things home run of the season, as they cut the lead to 7. And last year, Haar for the Minnesota Twins single-A organization hit 1 home run all of last season, so he gets his first one here in Game 2. As the Wild Things back 10-3 now the score. And the first pitch to Jimmy Yezzo is a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. So the 2-run homer by Brian Haar gets the Wild Things back within 7. This ball chopped foul off to the right. 1 ball, 1 strike. Neither of those runs earned to John Jones at the 2-run homer. As Jimmy Yezzo, the batter, the designated hitter today, 0 for 3. 1 ball, 1 strike count on him now. And the first Wild Things home run of the year, when you need an attorney to hit one out of the park, yo, Keith. That home run's brought to you by Keith Owen Campbell, attorney at law. John Jones set. And the 1-1 coming. Swing and a miss, 1 ball, 2 strikes to the Wild Things designated hitter. So John Jones comes in and looked like he got the first out of the inning after an error by the third baseman Craig Masoni. He couldn't make the catch at the 1-2. That's grounded to first. Handled by Giletti. He'll take it to the bag himself, and that's out number 2. Two away here in the top of the 8th. 10-3 the score. Gateway leads. That'll bring up Dave Popkins. Popkins 1 for 3, excuse me. He did reach base twice as he reached on an error by left fielder Cody Livesey last time out. So Jones getting ready to face Popkins. Popkins the switch hitter, batting right-handed this time. Here's the pitch. And this one's fouled off. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count to the Wild Things right fielder. John Jones set. And the 0-1 coming. Swing and a miss. No balls, 2 strikes. 0-2 the count to the Wild Things right fielder. Following the 2-run homer by Brian Haar, scoring Jamal Austin. Jones is set, and the 0-2 going to be on the way. Swing and a miss, and he strikes him out. But the Wild Things do get 2 back in the inning on 1 hit, 1 error, and no man left on. And after 7.5, the score, Gateway Grizzlies 10, Washington Wild Things 3. You're listening to the coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball here on MSASports.net, getting you covered for the entire season of Washington Wild Things baseball. We'll be right back on MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things 2016 Frontier League Baseball.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network. Going to the bottom of the 8th inning, another new pitcher for the Wild Things as Colin Stanley will take over, the 6'0", 175-pound right-hander from Hartville, Ohio. He takes over after a clean inning by Brian O'Keefe. 1 inning, retired the Grizzlies in order, did get a strikeout. But 1 strikeout, no walks, no hits, no runs, no earned for O'Keefe in his season debut. Nice Wild Things debut for Brian O'Keefe. And now it'll be Colin Stanley. And Stanley, last year, pitched for the Wild Things. 0-1, 124 ERA, 36 strikeouts, 6 walks, 10 hits. Appeared in 16 games through 21 and 2/3 innings for the Wild Things. So he'll take over here. Nice low ERA there. And they said only 10 hits in the 21 and 2/3 innings and 36 strikeouts. So he's a big strikeout guy. We'll look to do that here as he looks to retire the Gateway Grizzlies in the bottom of the 8th. And due up for the Grizzlies in this inning, Seth Heck, Craig Massoni, and Vin Giletti. As Heck steps in and we're ready to start the bottom of the 8th. Score Gateway 10, Washington 3. A 2-run homer by Brian Haar in last inning, getting the Wild Things back within 7. It's the second game of the 3-game series with the Gateway Grizzlies here in Sauget, Illinois. Stanley setting his first pitch. Is a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Here to Seth Heck. Heck 1 for 2 with 2 walks and a single and 2 runs scored. Stanley setting the 1-0 coming. And low, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Stanley, one of the returners to the Wild Things, only 5 returners to the pitching staff of 12. So 1 of 5 returners on the mound. 2 balls, no strikes, the count to Heck. Stanley set, and the 2-0 coming. And that's a called strike, 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on the Grizzlies second baseman. We're here in the bottom of the 8th on MSA Sports Network from Sauget, Illinois. Stanley set and the 2-1 coming. And that's low, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. The count here to the Grizzlies second baseman. Game 3 of this series tomorrow. First pitch 4:05 Eastern Time, 3:05 Central, as your Wild Things look to wrap up this series with the Gateway Grizzlies. The 3-1 coming. Outside ball 4, so a leadoff walk here. Gives the Grizzlies a runner at first with nobody out, and that'll bring up the third baseman, Craig Masoni. Masoni today 2 for 4 with a homer and a single and 3 RBIs on the evening. That big 3-run homer really got the Gateway Grizzlies out in front in the 4th, and they've never looked back. That put them ahead 5-1 at that point. Now they are ahead 10-3. Stanley hoping that leadoff walk doesn't hurt him. Stanley set, and the pitch. Swung on and shot foul off to the left. No balls and a strike. Tomorrow's game, as we said, first pitch 4:05 can be heard right here on the MSA Sports Network. I'll be here to call all the action. Zach Ziegler. Pitching matchup, Chase Cunningham for the Wild Things goes against Sasha Kubel for the Gateway Grizzlies. Both making their 2016 Frontier League debut. Stanley checks the runner at first. He's set. And the pitch coming. High ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count to Masoni. He committed the error last inning that allowed Jamal Austin to reach second. That was followed up by the Brian Hart 2-run homer to make the score 10-3. Stanley set in the 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. Grizzlies lead 10-3 over your Washington Wild Things. And Stanley steps off and fakes the throw over to first. So get back on the mound. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. No outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Grizzlies lead 10-3. Stanley set and the 1-2 coming. And that's a called strike 3. So Stanley gets his first strikeout of the night. And there's 1 away here in the bottom of the 8th. That brings up Vin Giletti, the first baseman for the Gateway Grizzlies. Giletti today 2 for 4 with a double and a home run and 4 RBIs. And in the bullpen for the Grizzlies, Javon West starting to throw out there after John Jones' inning of work. Stanley set. Here's the first pitch. And it's outside ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Grizzlies looking to even the series with the Wild Things after the Wild Things got a 4-3 win in yesterday evening's game. 1 ball, no strikes. Stanley set. And the pitch coming. And this one grounded to third. Har bobbles it for a second. Wobrock recovers, and the recovery will not be in time, as Giletti will reach, giving the Grizzlies runners at first and second here with 1 away. And it'll bring up Blake Brown. Brown 0 for 1, 3 walks on the day. Brown walked 3 times as he comes to the plate. Wild Things down 10-3. Grizzlies have runners at first and second here with 1 away in the bottom of the 8th. Stanley has his sign from Sorondo. He's set. And the pitch coming. And it's a called strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Stanley set and the 0-1 coming. And this one, fly ball foul off to the right. That'll get back in the seats. No balls, 2 strikes, the count to Brown. Oh and 2. Stanley on the mound. Stanley set, checks the runner at second. And the 0-2 coming. In the dirt, nice block by Sorondo. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sorondo keeps it in front of him. A couple nice blocks for Eddie behind the plate. He's done a nice job of keeping the ball in front of him. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Colin Stanley, the pitcher, the 4th pitcher used by the Wild Things today. As Brian O'Keefe threw a scoreless 7th inning. And now it's Stanley here in the 8th. Stanley set. Kicks and deals. And low in the dirt, Sarando tried to block this one, couldn't keep it as it gets away. That'll be a wild pitch for Stanley. Runners move up to second and third here with 1 out. That's the 5th wild pitch of the night for the Wild Things. 3 of them charged to Connor Kendrick in the beginning. So Blake Brown, 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. 1 away. Stanley looks in for Sarando for his sign. He has it. He's set. And the 2-2 coming. High ball 3. Count goes full to Brown. Brown's already walked 3 times tonight. See if he walks again here in his 5th at-bat of the day. He's 0 for 1 officially. Stanley set. And the 3-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. The 2nd strikeout of the inning for Colin Stanley. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Ben Waldrop. Waldrop 0 for 4 with a strikeout, 2 flyouts, and a ground out on the day. Waldrop up. As he said, he struck out 0 for 4 on the day. You're listening to MSA Sports Network. The Gateway Grizzlies lead the Washington Wild Things 10-3 here from Sauget, Illinois at GCS Bank Stadium. Stanley set. The first pitch. And this one to center field. Austin going back on it, but he has it and camps under it to make the catch. Out number 3. So no runs in the inning on no hits, 1 error, and 2 left on base. After 8 innings of play, the score, Gateway Grizzlies 10, Washington Wild Things 3. Wild Things come back for their last chance on offense as you're listening to MSA Sport Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. POGS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. POGS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to POGS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on MSA Sports Network coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. New pitcher on the mound for the Gateway Grizzlies is Javon West. Forgot his name for a minute as he comes into the game. West, a 6'1", 215-pound right-hander out of Atlanta, Missouri. So a local guy here for the Gateway Grizzlies. Jones pitched a solid inning of work. He did give up a run on the home run. While striking out 2 in his inning of work and not walking a batter. So Javon West, the new pitcher for the Gateway Grizzlies. West pitched for the Grizzlies last season and had a record of 4-4 with a 4.74 ERA, 56 strikeouts, 24 walks for the Grizzlies. And due up for the Wild Things this inning to try to come back in this game, it's Andrew Heck, Scott Carcasi, and Eddie Sarando in the top of the 9th inning, down 10-3. Wild Things look to fight back in this one. Game 3 of this 3-game series against the Gateway Grizzlies is tomorrow as the pitching matchup, Sasha Kubel versus Chase Cunningham. First pitch can be heard right here on the MSA Sports Network at 4:05 Eastern Time, 3:05 Central Time. So Javon West finished with his warm-up tosses, and that will bring up Andrew Heck, the left fielder for the Wild Things. Heck today, 1 for 3 with a strikeout, a single, and a stolen base. As Stanley throws a scoreless inning of work. West looking to Toole for his sign. He's set, and the first pitch. Inside, ball one. 1 ball, no strikes, the count to the Wild Things left fielder. .299 batting average for the Wild Things last season. It's his second game of the year. Didn't get in a bat in last night's contest. Entered as a defensive replacement in the 8th. And the next pitch inside, ball two. 2 balls, no strikes, the count. Wild Things still going to try to fight here in the top of the 9th, even though they're down by 7. Here's the 2-0 from West. And this ball popped up to the right side. Galletti going to foul territory, calls everyone off and makes the catch. That's out number 1. So quickly 1 away here, and that'll bring up Scott Carcasey, 0 for 3 with a strikeout on the day, and he also grounded into a 6-3 double play. Scott Carcasey, the designated hitter in last night's game, playing first base tonight. Set and the pitch from West. This ball hit foul down the left field line. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count at Carcasey. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Wild Things down 10-3. Looking to do something offensively. West set. And the 0-1. Outside ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to Carcasey. And the Wild Things down 10-3 here in the top of the 9th. West set in the pitch. 1-1 is swung on and missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And fans, the homestand coming up after a trip to Joliet following tomorrow's game. But on May 21st, the first 1,000 fans to the park will receive a T-shirt courtesy of Mylan Lobs. Gates open at 6 p.m., so be sure to get there early to get your free Wild Things T-shirt as that pitch is in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-2 the count on Carcasey. As Wild Things still fighting at the plate even though they're down by 7. Want some competitive at-bats here. West set in the 2-2. Swing and a miss, and Carcasey strikes out, and the Wild Things are down to their last out of the night. As stepping in will be Eddie Sarando. Sarando 0 for 1 with a strikeout. He's also walked twice in today's game. And actually, we're going to have a pinch hitter here for Sarando, as it'll be Grant Fink coming into the game to pinch hit. Fink was in yesterday's game, the starting left fielder. He was 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. First pitch low, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. As Grant Fink, the batter. Down 10-3 of the Wild Things. Here's the 1-0. This one fouled off. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Wild Things down to their last out, down 10-3. Tomorrow's game starts at 4:05 Eastern. Here's the 1-1. Inside ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Count to the Wild Things pinch hitter, Grant Fink. Fink yesterday 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch from West. Outside ball 3. 3-1 the count on Fink. Javon West, a local guy growing up in Missouri here. 3-1, and this one's hit foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Count full to Fink. Wild Things down to their last strike of the day. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Listening to the MSA Sports Network here from GCS Bank Stadium in Sauget, Illinois. Wild Things down 10-3. West set in the 3-2. Swing and a foul ball off the mask of Toole behind the plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Tomorrow, first pitch, 4:05 Eastern, 3:05 Central. The pitching matchup, Chase Cunningham versus Sasha Kubel. Both making their 2016 Frontier League debuts. West looks into Toole. He has his sign. He's set. 3-2, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and Fink strikes out, and the ball game is over. Your final score here from Sauget, Illinois. Gateway Grizzlies take Game 2 of this series by a score of 10-3. We'll be right back with the Washington Wild Things postgame show. You're listening to MSA Sports coverage of the Washington Wild Things 2016 Frontier League season.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the Washington Wild Things coverage here on MSASports.net. The Washington Wild Things postgame show. Here is the Wild Things drop Game 2 of this series by a score of 10-3. And tonight, it really all started to fall apart in inning number 4. It was 1-1 after 3, and to that point, starter Connor Kendrick was pitching very well. Then it came that 4th inning where the Grizzlies put a 4-spot on the Wild Things. A leadoff walk started that inning. A single by Logan Davis had runners at first and third, followed by an RBI double by Cody Livesey. But the big blow, the Craig Masoni 3-run home run that put the Gateway Grizzlies up 5-1. The Grizzlies never looked back after that big shot, winning this one 10-3. If you want to look at one of the positives for the Wild Things, Brian O'Keefe's work out of the bullpen, signed out of the California Winter League. Before the California Winter League even started, O'Keefe threw a scoreless inning today with 1 strikeout as he came on in the 8th. So good work from Brian O'Keefe out of the bullpen. Other than that, not much going for the Washington Wild Things. Game 3, the rubber match of this series, can be heard tomorrow right here on the MSA Sports Network. 4:05 scheduled first pitch for that one. 4:05 Eastern, 3:05 here in Central Time. Your final score in this game, Gateway Grizzlies win it 10-3. Thanks for listening. I'm Zach Ziegler. Be sure to tune back in tomorrow, 4:05 first pitch. 10-3, Grizzlies win this one. You've been listening to MSA Sports coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Thanks for listening, everybody, and be sure to tune in tomorrow.